professionals working in our federation. The Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis has always upheld principled and respectful relations with all nations, including the Republic of Cuba and the United States of America. We hold these bonds dear, not just as a matter of diplomacy, but because our lives, our histories, and our futures are deeply intertwined. As an independent nation, St. Kitts and Nevis has long been committed to peace and multilateralism. Our foreign policy is guided by respect, cooperation, and adherence to the rule of law. Cuba has been an indispensable partner to the Caribbean, and we believe its full integration into hemispheric development initiatives benefits all. A stronger, more prosperous Cuba is in the best interest of the Americas and the Caribbean, enhancing our collective security and sustainability. Equally so, the United States has been an invaluable development partner, and we are grateful for their contributions to our federation over the years. We are committed to strengthening our relationship. Many of us in St. Kitts and Nevis and across the Caribbean have benefited immensely from the opportunities provided by Cuba. I, like so many of my fellow citizens, had the privilege of receiving a first-class education in Cuba. Additionally, I had the opportunity to pursue specialization studies in the United States of America. This unique background highlights the importance of our relationship with both countries and is an example of the importance of that relationship to our socio-economic and political development. Our history proves that coexist in a way that benefits the people of this region. Since 2003, St. Kitts and Nevis has welcomed Cuban professionals who have come not as outsiders, but as family, helping us build a stronger, healthier, and more resilient nation. Our Cuban healthcare professionals have saved lives. Our Cuban trained professionals have become pillars of society. Let there be no doubt. Cuban professionals in St. Kitts and Nevis are treated with dignity, fairness, and respect. They are provided with comfortable housing at the expense of the government. They receive compensation commensurate with the well-established and statutorily approved government pay scale for professionals with similar expertise. They retain their passports, are free to travel, have vacation leave, work standard hours, and enjoy working conditions equivalent to those of local professionals. Let me be unequivocal. St. Kitts and Nevis values its relationships with both Cuba and the United States. We are a friend to all, an enemy to none. We are and will remain a staunch advocate for the rule of law, human rights, and labor rights. Any accusations of exploitative labor practices in our federation are inconsistent with our laws and values. As a people whose ancestors suffered for over 300 years through forced labor and human trafficking, we have never and will never tolerate human trafficking practices on our shores or anywhere. For this matter specifically, we have to assess the deeper truth. The division between Cuba and the United States of America does not serve the interests of our region. It does not help our people, our economies, or our shared vision for a more stable and prosperous region. It is time for dialogue. I call upon the leadership of Cuba, the United States of America, and CARICOM to come together in a spirit of mutual respect. The challenges we face, economic stability, healthcare, security, are challenges we must face together. Isolation and confrontation will only serve to deepen our struggles. Cooperation, on the other hand, will uplift us all. Until then, St. Kitts and Nevis as a sovereign nation will always make decisions that align with the best interests of our people. Our policies are shaped by our principles, our commitment to justice, and our unwavering dedication to upholding our national sovereignty. Our decisions are guided by fairness, regional solidarity, and the imperative of sustainable development. Under my leadership, St. Kitts and Nevis will continue to engage both Cuba and the United States of America. We take pride in our values, cherish our partnerships, and remain firm in our independence. We remain committed to constructive diplomacy and fostering relationships that uplift our people and advance stability in the region. Our voice on the global stage will continue to reflect both our principles and our pragmatic dedication to progress for all. Thank you.
Yes, I am. As the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis as he speaks on Cuba relations. Let's see if we have any audio yet.
Principles, no pragmatic dedication to progress for all. Thank you.
Okay, so it seems as if the audio has been sorted, at least on our ends. Sorry about that, people. It seems as if the audio has been sorted out on this end in terms of the folks who are listening to us, but I am not hearing Banky on my end, and I have the guest here with us this evening, Mull, who has been waiting patiently, but we are live, and so there are people in the audience. As I was listening to the Prime Minister making that press release, I don't know how much of it was aired, but by the time I checked the phone to look into Facebook here to see if things have been sorted out on this end, I noted that I was hearing it playing in the background, and so which means we are live. And I'm sorry about that, folks. All of you who are logging in tonight, we would have had a little bit of technical difficulty, and I can't say had. I could say still having, because I'm not certain yet if Banky is fully sorted out on his end, because earlier I was hearing the guest and the guest was hearing me, and Banky, we were not hearing Banky, and Banky was not hearing us. So in the meantime, though, we are not going to keep you waiting, since we are already live and lively people. We would see if between Alan and Banky they could get that technical side sorted out. But in the meantime, I would allow our guests to, should we call him a guest? Well, by now he's nearly like a co-host, because he's, like a regular person here with us. But tonight we are really going to zoom in a little bit, at least for this first hour, in terms of backyard gardening. And I don't know, based on some of those pictures I saw from Banky earlier on, in terms of you with all of these beautiful bounties and so on, it seems as if we may have to call it the king of backyard gardening on Nevis. But welcome back, and we look forward to the discussion, and I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. Even though you're a regular, the person who might be tuning in for the first time and who may not have, who may not know you. So let me give you that opportunity to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are, and then we could get cranking.
All right. Thanks a lot. Nice to be here. Well, my name is Kenneth Libert. Everybody know me as Mull. I work for the government as a mechanic. And I originally from Brown Hill. Went to Ivor Walters, went to Charleston Secondary. But I don't live in Brown Hill now. I live in a place they call Baileyard. So that's where I'm at. And I've been living up here for a while now. And like I said, I'm into backyard gardening. Like I say, you have to plant food. And you got to eat what you grow what you eat. Like today, my dish was from my yard, some mashed banana, right outside my kitchen window to grow. So it's imperative that we do that. We got to plant food, you know what I mean? Because especially the kind of quality of food, kind of food we're getting in top quality, man. And we got to know what we're eating, and we just got to know. And when you go it yourself, you know it. You know what to put into
and
it. You know what.
yes, and you will be totally aware of if you use chemicals and or not, and so you'll be totally aware of what you're eating versus when you have to buy it from the supermarket or elsewhere, and you're not in a true relationship with the farmers where you're getting your produce from. And so it is really an important point that you just made there when you said that we grow our own food so that it's healthier, and in terms of how it was grown, and that's a very vital point.
Point
You
yourself.
know, it's also interesting to note that you mentioned that you were not were I gotta say is a mechanic by trade, but
Yeah.
you would have opted to now delve a little bit more seriously into agriculture and focus more from the backyard gardening perspective, not so much into large acreage, but you were able to demonstrate, and based on some of those pictures that we would have seen earlier, those are demonstration of what you can do with a little space.
Yes.
Tell the folks a little bit more about what really inspired you to make such a move, to say, well, hey, I mean, I'm a mechanic, but like I think I can do something with this. What is it that triggered that? Because the average person out there, somebody out there who might be listening, might be saying, "Bah, yeah, I might be doing what I'm doing," and might be thinking about doing exactly what you would have done, but so maybe by you explaining, they might say, okay, well, I can do that too. So tell us what inspired you.
Well, I grew up. My father was a farmer, so we grew up working land. But after I fenced my yard, you know what I mean? After eventually get my yard fenced, I think it was 2016, I mean, we started, well, I was talking to Banky one time, you know what I mean? He was the extension officer at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, we started, well, I started like planting the thing. I remember one time Flight came by the garage for diesel one afternoon. And I asked him, what he have? And he told me that he has a tray of lettuce and he would bring it back for me. And that
Mm-hmm.
was the starting point. He brought me that lettuce, gave it to me. I planted outside in my yard,
Mm-hmm.
and you just take off from there. This thing could grow on you. And then, like I said, Banky was the extension officer and at the
Mm-hmm.
time, and he came around and, gave me pointers, and you just take off from there. And then again, I don't hang out, I don't lie, I don't party. So when I
Mm-hmm.
done work, I basically had nothing to do. And I had this yard, I have my yard, and I just decided what better way to do what you know to do, and that is just plant food.
A very very good point you made there again. Because and it's something that I always say to people, and when I used to teach, that was one of the things that I recognized that was kind of lacking within the education system, and so I started to try to fix that with all of the classes that I had an opportunity to deal with. When you said that it was because of that tray of lettuce that you got, and you now having to take the responsibility now to look after it and to bring it to fruition. I always say to people, try to plant something.
Yes, can you hear me?
Grow some. Yes, now I'm hearing you now. Yes, grow something.
Yeah,
Um,
All right, I'm just gonna test something. Let me check back my mic and walk over. All right.
cool. So, grow something, right? And by growing it, it will inspire you to do more, because when you go that one tree and you realize, even if it's one pepper tree or it's one tomato tree, and you realize, boy, I mean, no, I get a couple tomatoes. I mean, which means I might not have to buy these tomatoes. That's money saving for me. But even if it's not the money part, just the joy of you being able to say, "Bye, I grew this and I could eat," off of my own handiwork, and maybe you seen your children eat it, and your wife or your mother, some family member being able to give them something. It's a sort of motivation and inspiration. And so I am truly happy that was what happened, and know that you could continue to give us this story. So Banky was the extension officer. Banky encouraged you and gave you whatever advice accordingly, and then you started a little space, and know what. Talk to us about what is happening. The continuation from here.
Well, at first, well, the yard was a little bit rocky, you know what I mean? So I bring in some topsoil and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And spread it out and build it up. 'Cause you gotta do that. I mean, my mother used to say, you gotta spend money to make money, you know what I mean? And if you gotta improve your yard, you just gotta spend some money. If you want something done, you just gotta go get it. And after we did that, you know what I mean? I was watching a TV one night and I see them talk about this grow box. And that's where it take off from. I just say, well, this grow back thing could work because it's contained. And then I just build up some box and just plant it in there. So it's much easier because it was much easier with the grow box because I got the topsoil and manure mix from Lenway Taylor, and he does a good job. I could tell you that right now. He does a real good job. Matter of fact, I'm order for him right now too. He's supposed to be the next 4 yards for me on Monday.
Great.
But then I started with go back, and then you started with a few, and then it just take off until my yard basically is covered. I got like 40 something of them.
40 something go boxes?
I think it's 43 or 44 on there.
Wow. That's interesting. And so no, and this is the other part now, because I guess first it might have started off as a little hobby, and you were able to, I guess, sustain yourself and feed yourself, but seemingly it has even expanded a little bit more, where it has now kind of grown into a little business where people now look forward to you to supply them with certain things on a regular, whether it's weekly or daily or whatever the case may be. Is that the scenario right now?
Well, right now, I mean, especially with lettuce, because some people tell me they don't want no lettuce for nobody but me. I mean, I tell them I just plant them, like if I use the manure, it done. That's what I use. I mean, dig the hole, put the manure in it, put it in. I also have the yard gypped out right now, you know what I mean? But lettuce is a big seller, and I know people told me that my lettuce lasts like 2 weeks in the fridge, you know what I mean? And when the box, they will hear you, Banky. They last
so
like 2 weeks.
Let me do this, Mal. Since Banky would have been going through some testing phase, and so let's give him a chance to introduce himself and make sure that he's loud and clear, and then we could get back to the conversation. So folks who are listening, if you're just joining us, we were having a little bit of technical difficulty in the beginning, and we were not hearing Banky. And I guess some of you who would have been on very early would have noted that we were on. You were seeing us, but you were not hearing us. We would have gotten part of that sorted out, but we now had Banky to get organized. And so he's with us now. And so let's have him do his official introduction, and then we get back to the conversation with Mr. Liebert. Well, he said everybody know him as Mull, so let's just say Mull, right? We can call him Mull, right?
Yeah, we go with that.
All right, good. So, yeah, Banky, greetings. We appreciate the patience and everything still, but blessed evening.
Yeah, man. Good evening, and appreciate you guys taking out the a regular Friday evening where you could be doing anything and take time to listen to everything agriculture show. As this evening, as we realize, I mean, we have a little technical difficulties, but with patience, everything will work itself out. So big up Alan, enough respect behind the scenes, start to know, make sure everything working out, and I were tapping in, checking us and stuff like that, and Chev for being there. So our guest, the King of Backyard Mull, as usual, you can see in there. So let me say good evening to the folks in the in Oli and Liamega, which is St. Kitts and Nevis, and also the folks in the neighboring islands, Saban, Statius, and Bats, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the BVI, Montserrat over on the other end, along with Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, all the way up to Grenada and Petit Martinique. I mean, all these islands I'm calling, I have friends and families more or less on all this Caribbean, throughout the whole Caribbean, so it's important people listen to the show. And I always want to show gratitude for those who are listening, because they let me know, Banky, we're listening, so you have to big up your island too. So there's a reason why I do these things, because it shows this island are really in tuned, and they are the viewers and listeners who make the show one of the number one show within St. Kitts and Nevis. So it shows that more shows will start up and fall up within a year time, and we're still here, which means we're doing something good, and the viewers, it doesn't matter which day we choose of the week, they're really dedicated and stick along with us, whether we start an hour later afterwards an hour away. So I'm not sure why they're so dedicated to it, that myself, but it's amazing. And we really appreciate stuff like this. And if you're first time listening and viewing audience, it's a non-political show. It's an educational show where we should have face of those who grow the food or the products that you eat, that you see in the supermarkets. More times you can't really tell whether it's a male or female. Agriculture is not gender biased, and sometimes we don't think that we are into agriculture itself, but every trade there is on planet Earth is an agricultural trade. We just don't think about it that way because it's in another aspect of it. But the clothes we wear, the house we live in, the car we drive, the jewelry we wear, just everything is practically the mining of the earth resources. But food is the most important over anything else. Your pastor, your preacher, your this, your that, your banker, your politician. Without food, none of us exist. And when you're going to start agriculture, I mean, you're going to do it in a holistic way to protect the bees and all the good pollinators and the soil and the waterways and all this different stuff, not just doing it in the name of money. Because you realize people tend to easily lose your soul because of money at the same time. You're making yourself sick, your family and your loved one within the same environment sick. Because if I had my way, it will be a free, no chemical, no herbicide will be imported into the island of St. Kitts and Nevis. We really got to leave the place in a much better place than how we met it, because even if we are transition, we are still around because we're children. That is what make us here. So we appreciate the folks over in Europe, England especially, those over in Africa, those different time zones. It's really made it up in the morning listening to us here while it's early in the PM, where people still going out for dinner. They're probably getting ready to go to bed and wrapped up and stuff like that. And it's winter time. So we really appreciate these guys who definitely been supporting the Everything Agriculture Show and all those guests who came on over the years, because people would call and ask us if they want to be a part of the show, and I will just ask someone and they just don't hesitate. I don't know why. It'll be amazed sometimes, how I get all these guests and all these different areas, platform, professors from all different universities and stuff like that. But yeah, son, I mean, you yourself is a part. I couldn't have done it without you. Once the idea came up, you're the first somebody just come to mind, because it's just the right thing to do. We just been always tagging along from since school youth days, and even when you're in the school as a teacher, I mean, and I'm farming outside of that. I mean, you just flood out the whole high school with watermelon. I said, boy, this body has something else. You turn the whole school into a public market, and when you see the students and teachers just coming through and have fruits in the hand, it's a beautiful thing. So you're a true ambassador, and it's a shame that those who are at the realm don't see the stuff that you does when it comes contributing your time as a teacher, who have taught thousands and thousands of the youths and them through primary school to high school. And sometimes the heroes are overlooked, but the youth and them would always appreciate the stuff that you have done. And the teachers them know, I mean, I work along with all the high schools and primary schools on the island. A small space can produce as much as much food as a larger space. It's all about consistency. There are many farmers have a lot of land, but they're not utilizing the land. They just have 2 acres, 3 acres, 4 acres. And when you ask them how much occupied, now you go there, not even a quarter acre is being occupied. So what's the purpose of holding on all this land? You see what I mean? We have a mindset where we have put agriculture at the bottom of the list. Here, Moll is a trade mechanic. You know what I'm saying? A very good mechanic too, because he's the one who is responsible for all these school buses. Let me say that. And the safety and seriousness we take about the responsibility of our children. We should acknowledge this gentleman when we see him, because when you see those school buses, he's the one who maintains them, you know. Make sure tires are smooth, the tire and the braking system, so you'd never hear the school bus getting in an accident. So you mean this man have 100%? You understand? No, I mean this is the reality. The man now praise himself. You know, I've been around. I'm always a road mechanic shop as a youth from a little boy up Kodak Road. I run Conrad Taylor. He never run me. That's all normal. And I run Doctor Don Kodak Road. I run Ashi Math. So when even I'm at agriculture, my comfort zone is up by the garage. I'm all them will tell you that Jim and them, Mike and all them guys. I just always, it's just my comfort zone. You see what I mean? So I'll find myself up there and just, you know, me interact with the guys and them, because it's just a part of my childhood. But more are the one who maintain, me can speak. Can either be them, them guys who sit in the office no go on. I demand it, train the youth man them up there and work on them school bus and so forth. So you got to big up Raleigh, Court, you know what I mean? Beat and all them and up there. So I mean, you got to give these young guys credit, Virgin. You don't hear nothing about the school bus and the school buses them on the road, you know, and stuff like that. That when it comes to anything else, that a safety. We got top good natural record and now broke down on the road with nobody students and children and them. So more big up yourself on that. You know what I'm saying? It's the right thing to do. And those who they need to up your money before you leave your civil service. No PS and no director supposed to make more than you. And the mechanics then up at the no, this is a serious thing, the Virgin. These people sit in the office and can hold a wrench, but they put them over you. You see what I mean? Because of paper. I mean, I worry about them things in a Virgin. The government system, those who perform, and a matter of fact about performance, the Premier say from April 1st, those in the government system will start getting increments and whatever. Well, he whole cabinet no need to get on, along with the minister, and that include the Minister of Agriculture and the manager at Indian Castle, because that's a pure failure of the last 2 years. Because agriculture open coming up the end of this month, and then they produce one crop for the last 2 set of open days happening since I've left. What can be the explanation about this food security thing? You see what I mean? And these are what we're talking about. So how the Premier going to compensate the manager at Indian Castle? How are you going to compensate the manager of the Minister of Agriculture when they're not being produced, when they have failed the whole of Indian Castle and the people of Indian Castle? And I hear him bigging up Sean Rollins and them with the project at right there by the gas station at Gingerland. But Indian Castle 40 acres more important than the building that Sean them up there bill for nightclub party and whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever business we do, it's more important than food, Virgin. And he not mentioned nothing about food at Indian Castle, and he mentioned opening, and he mentioned what going to be coming out of Indian Castle for opening to be a part of. You understand? The grand, the expo, and all these things. He need to stop telling lies and need to just take off his jacket and his clothes and just stay home and just find some flowers to plant and just leave agriculture alone. And the Premier himself need to take up the mantle from agriculture, because it's not just the minister failing us, you know. Because Muller produce more food than Indian Castle. That is the reality. More producing more food than Indian Castle, because they've been neglected. And more I'm serious about it. I mean, I'm sincere about these things, because I'm not playing when it comes to food. Because, well, you know gotta go. Because if they've been produced, they've been talk about it. You see what I mean? If they've been produced, they've been talk about it. You don't hear it every day. When the Premier make a post and that kind of something, not one of them can talk about it. You not hear nobody talk about it. Not even the director of the PS and extension staff. Not even the manager don't talk about it. They can't talk about it. And remember, when we remind the Premier and his cabinet that in the House, his minister say in the first quarter, the second phase at Indian Castle will be started. We got 2 more weeks in the end of the month, you know, and the first quarter done. So who fool who? The rainy season done with, a pure heat will go on from now until October. So who fooling who? But anyway, all that a part of food security, so I had to include that. So right now we have a backyard man producing the food on 40 acres. So how is that possible? Consistency, and this is the thing we're talking about. And this is a perfect example. Because when I was there, it's every quarter food will come out non-stop. Sorrel, months along to July, me harvest sorrel. You understand? Squash, melons upon melons. There's no estate in the establishment of agriculture. For instance, they have started that institution have produced more food than Indian Castle, especially watermelon that under my watch. So it come like that a bolt record right there. So me don't know how that gonna happen. Cause who then can't come back and they don't fail. But right now, Mull is the one who leading Indian Castle. So Mull gotta big you up and what you have doing. So the minister really have to make sure award you somewhere between agriculture openly for what the work you have been doing. Cause you also partner when it come to other area within the government sector in trade and stuff like that with female when it comes to backyard gardening and small space. Cause I work along with you on some of those projects. So I know what you have been doing over the years consistently, and it shows that, and it pay for itself because you not only just set up, you have records to, so you keep very good records of what you do, and you can make comparison at this time of the year compared to 2 years back, 3 years back, 4 years back, and how your farm have grown because you keep adding to it and expanding and come up with different ideas and stuff. So now you're putting on timers and all this different stuff. So you and then you have your electrical fence at the same time. So you have that mini setting where that microclimate where it shows how you control pests and stuff like that. And then you show the different technology and then different planting system. Because you're not just plant in the raised bed, you still have different bags and pots where you grow stuff in. So it shows you can grow in anything that you have in your yard, and by recycling some of these material that we throw away in the garbage, you show that all those different techniques where you plant with potatoes in bags, in pots and different size of pots and different stuff like that. So you have really inspired a lot of people who pass in your area, I can tell. And anyone, but you have others like you yourself who still do a lot of good within, but you just have to highlight you because you have worked along with the department and stuff like that. And only if the ministers and then listen to people like you when you give advice to the peers and take some of the ideas, because your idea work, you know. Because if you have to have a raised bed, then you still put a little some wood up to the side and cover it down with a fence. So even that small space where monkeys or animals can get to these things is a success. And we have done that with people who are in wheelchair. The young lady up in Raleigh of transition, she too had been a part of that project where she had a garden and have grow box and producing a lot of food. You see what I mean? So the evidence is there. So when it comes to small space, we always want to bring you on and highlight you so you can speak and encourage others to use the space, because as I said, we tend to look at big spaces, but big spaces mean you have to understand what you're doing, have a proper planning, things in place. Otherwise, the land going to run along with you. And then you'll find different ways that is not conducive and start using a lot of chemicals, especially for herbicides and to control grass. But at the same time, you're harming yourself and the environment that you live in. So I know I've been saying a mouthful, but just have to put in all that, give you your roses while you're here. I never spoke about stuff like that. I know people don't know you're the one who in charge of those school buses with them on the road, hauling out the delegates from places to places, our culture over time. And you got them around and never brought down yet. So yes, and you see the man who are behind the scene doing this kind of work, and we take things for granted.
Well, it's good that you take the time out to highlight those things, and so that's one side that is being contributing, and even on the agriculture side, which is another area that a lot of the times we don't pay much of attention to. We don't give our people the credit. Like, look, for example,
Yes.
we have people like Emmons Thompson who have gone to the U.S. Virgin Islands representing St. Kitts and Nevis for so many years and been winning to back to back to back, 13 years back to back champion. No, but we not say 3 years, you know. We not say 4 years, you know.
Yes.
13 years. And how
Yes.
much time you hear people talk about this? How much is she celebrated? I mean, I just did
Of
it yesterday
course.
when she daughter posting a picture they saying somebody seemed like they went to break down she fence and went in, she gonna go take out stuff and so. I mean, those things are hard, you know. But anyway, I
But
just
you know,
pointed
your
out
son
that there's
Timothy and
no.
his small sister, right? You know that, right? His small sister.
Well, you see what I mean? You see what I mean? But anyway, the
The
point
man
I'm making, right,
come
is
from
the
a farming background.
contribution
He come from a farming background.
contributions of the farmers are not
Yes.
recognized. And he's here now also demonstrating his
Yes.
ability with the backyard garden. And then you also mentioned that he is one who assists with whether it's females and other groups and so on who want to get into
Yes.
backyard gardening and so on. Very well.
Yes.
Before let Mal continue, I'm just going to highlight this because I found this quite interesting, and I must congratulate the folks at the Ministry of Social Services and Social Department. I find that they do a lot of work. I think last year they had a gardening competition as well too, and I know some people were successful. I think my mom won in some category, the orchard category or something like that. But this year, seemingly they're doing a senior citizen division competition. So the Nevis Island Administration Social Services Department Senior Citizens Division presents its first ever seniors garden competition, open to all senior citizens age 65 and above residing in Navy. So that's the qualifier. You have to be a senior citizen, 65 and above, and you have to be residing in Navis. The forms can be collected from the Social Services Department, Ministry of Health, et al., and the Department of Agriculture. The categories that they would have for this competition is the most beautiful flower garden, best vegetable garden, most creative container garden, most accessible garden, and sustainable garden. Registration starts on the 17th of March and ends on the 17th of April. So you have 1 month to register, a whole month. And if you've never heard it before, well, you're hearing it here on Everything Agriculture. So the registration starts on the 17th of March and end on the 17th of April. And you can collect the forms from the Ministry of Social Services, Ministry of Health, and also the Ministry of Agriculture. The judging period would be sometime in July 2025. They did not give a specific date, so it will be sometime in July 2025. Now we get back to Mol. I know that I don't know if you're aware of this and if you may be called upon to assist some of the seniors and so on. But I'm really loving this. It is a good activity. I endorsed the activity. I actually shared and promoted it as well, and I am taking the opportunity here to encourage all of our senior citizens. Many of them, I'm sure, would already be involved in agriculture in some little way and some gardening somewhere. I'm hopeful though that especially seeing that agriculture is such a critical thing, that it's not just little trinkets that they're given. I'm hoping that some sponsors or so on could come on board and really put some tangible gifts and so on to help motivate people to get into agriculture. So I love these initiatives because it stimulates that energy. And I think they really need to do something, maybe a backyard gardening competition as well to mull, so that it could encourage more people to be like you, and more people being like you would also help to solve the problem that we have, which is food security, which is reducing the import bill, having to import all of these foods. And so I'm hopeful that something like that could happen. What are your thoughts on the senior citizens and even the activity and even the possibility of a backyard gardening competition?
Well, I never heard about it about the seniors, but that's a good thing. You know what I mean? You keep them active too. Like I see a post
Yeah.
somewhere. If you want to be happy, somebody was saying that time. If you want to be happy for a year, get married. If you want to be happy for 10 years, get a dog. If you want to be happy for life, do gardening. And when I
Mm,
saw it, I just laughed because it's very interesting. But
Nice.
it's good to see that the seniors are part of it. You know what I mean? And I hope
yes,
it
yes.
goes well. And if they reach out to me, I'm always available to help anybody. You know what I mean? And next thing is that we gotta get serious about agriculture. We just have to. Like I told you before, the quality of food that we're getting from overseas ain't up to par. We gotta eat where we go. We just got to get that stamping. And like I was telling Banky one time, I had a talk with the PS, and I was telling her that the acting PS that my goal is that I would like to see every yard in Nevis have at least 2 grow boxes, 4
Mm-hmm.
by 16, wire around, um, and put the shade cloth on top so the monkey can't get it. Because if you talk,
Right.
don't go tonight, I was talking to somebody, and the first thing they said, boy, the monkey, I mean, he say he had a mango tree, and the monkey just, yesterday he went down there, they were on, and today all gone.
Wow.
But like you start in small space, I mean, I'm talking about, just 2 grow boxes, that would be like 20 by 12. And
Right.
you can do 2 grow boxes, and you square foot them, and you could plant a lot of stuff in them. That would be one of my, that I would like that to be one of my goals. And the next one I was talking about is that each school in Nevis now, especially the primary school, have a kitchen. And I think that each school should have grow boxes, at least 7, one for each class, 20 by 4. And you show the children them going from, they could see them planting it, and when they could look at see they eating it on the plate. And that will motivate them because if you do it at school, they will go home and tell their parents, man, we did this. And you could encourage them and motivate the parents to get into that, into the backyard garden. Because you got to do something. Because like you just said, anytime you go to a meeting, all they talk about is the food import bill. And I remember Nevis used to feed St. Kitts and other islands. It's the same Nevis we have.
Yes.
What's going to do? I mean, I know we do have a monkey problem, but we got to fix that.
The mindset.
I don't know why. I don't know why they stopped the monkey program. I have no idea. But we just have to do something. We got to get radical with them because either we have them or we starve, or we buy crap, or we just grow our own food, get rid of them and grow our own food. I know some people are talking about Greenpeace. I don't know what that is, But while they're talking about Greenpeace and animal rights, we're starving. We ain't gonna proper food to eat. Because if you buy something from the store, let's be real, and you put it down, it's gonna turn to water. If you grow something in the backyard with manure, without any herbicide and pesticide, it could last for a long, long, long time. A long time. Because it's grown the proper way. And it's a lot more healthier. I mean, I remember one time I sell a lady some cauliflower, and she was saying to me, boy, I have to give you your props. So I said, what happened? She said, when I buy them from the store, but you put them in the fridge, they start to turn. They got a brown spot on this brown looking spot on them. I said, I didn't know. And he said, you want to stay nice and clean all the way through. I said, well, I just try to grow it naturally. And this is what we got to get people into. Get a small space. It's a small space here. I mean, I have right now on my septic tank, I have 20 pots. I have potato in some, carrot in some, and cassava in one. And a septic tank. Just to show you where you can plant food. where you can plant food. And this year I planted 11 pots of yam, and I got 40 pounds of yam come off the same septic tank. This year I didn't get so much, so I give her a couple and I just keep the rest for me to eat. One time I get a 7 pound yam last year, I got a 5 pound yam this year. But I'm just showing you how things. I mean, I'm not bought sweet potato for the year begin, because I've been reaping potato all the time. I mean, I put them up on status, and people keep flocking me. And then my wife will say, you don't have enough. Oh, so why putting them up? So I kind of refrain from putting them up now, because she said, you don't have enough to sell. This is just enough for me to eat.
Right.
So, I mean, and I was talking to my good friend Culture, he was saying, she's right, because why sell yours and then you have to buy what people grow, which you don't know how healthy they be and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, like this afternoon I came home and I have a section there, I just weed it out. I straight from work, straight into the garden, weed it out, because I want to plant some watermelon in it, because I make a smoothie. When my wife makes a smoothie for me every morning, and we gotta get watermelon. So I'm gonna plant out the watermelon. Between yesterday and today, I plant 418 herbs in 2 boxes, because right now I'm building over my boxes, because I'm moving them from 2x6 to 2x10. It costs a couple dollars there, but I just gotta get it done. And like I said, my mother said, you gotta spend money to make money. I gotta get it done, because this is where I am at. I've built 11 so far. Well, I got about, well, some of them are 2x10 already. I got maybe about 20 more, I don't know. But I just gotta get it done. Some are small. I got some small box, 3x3 up to 4x24. But it's spread out across the yard. And I remember vividly, just before the COVID, I mean, I was getting some licks, because people were telling me, boy, you soon can't walk in the yard. And at one time it was getting to me, but then COVID hit. And the cry from everybody was plant something. And then Banky said to me, well, you're way ahead of everybody. Who is the fool now? And like I tell people, every morning I can go out and pick something out my yard, whether it's just one thing or 2 things. Like today I sell like 6 lettuce, 2 herbs, and 5 jelly, just from the yard. And my yard my land is only a 1/4 acre, and my house is on it, and the front belongs to the wife with the flowers. So I just got the side and the back, the 2 sides on the back. But I'm making maximum use of it. You know what I mean? I just try to do what I have to do. You just gotta do something. You just can't say, well, oh, I mean, some people just try their hand in the ear and say, well, we got a monkey problem. But you gotta try to get a fence, a monkey fence. You gotta do something. And like I was saying before, the 2 boxes in a small space with the shade cloth on top and the wire around, I think that could work. I really think that could work for yards in Nevis, even if you're not fence. That could work and get people started, Because once you get started, that's it, This thing could,
You see,
could go on you.
yes,
Right,
and
Banky.
what Molly is doing, we have a situation where we have a lot of tires at the dump and a lot of utensils, refrigerators, and different stuff. All those are raised beds, For someone who can't really do too much of bending, they can get a small refrigerator, a larger one that reaches a certain height, fill it up with some topsoil the same way, and that a raised bed they don't have to bend down. You see what I mean? So we got to be creative. Tires can also be planted in. You can paint them up in the schools and areas and stuff like that. Put them against each other and stuff. On drip line, you have more surface space to plant larger crops and root crops at the same time. So even if you is not spending the money in sense when it comes for 2x4, you can use their material that is free, that is available by our kind of tire shops that have a lot of tires there, different sizes and stuff, could also be used, and you just put in your mixed soil and be creative with it.
You see, Banky, it's a mindset, Banky. It's a mindset, and like when I started teaching, I could remember when I came back from CFBC, and that's how I actually ended up in high school, because when I came back, I was teaching St. Thomas's Primary School, And I recognize that that point, St. Thomas's was, I think, if I stand to be corrected, but I think it probably
Mm-hmm.
was one of the only schools that had an actual kitchen um, that cooked for the children. And
Yes.
I had a grade 4 class, and I was interested in getting them into doing a little bit of gardening. And so the same tire thing that you spoke about, I think it was I think I started with, I think, the assistance I got. Then parents were very supportive. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Rodney Fleming who had helped me with the tires originally. Um, and we started doing tomatoes and peppers and little things, and we were supplying and herbs, chives,
Mm-hmm.
and so on. And we were supplying the kitchen, and my students
Yes.
never really got into trouble because break time, the least chance they get, they gone to look after the little plants and so on. So they were not getting into trouble and getting the licks and so on because they found themselves doing something. Then that um, motivated other children to, because no other children wanted now to come and be a part of that and so on. And then we eventually um, it ended up on NNC, and then I think it was the Taiwanese who donated some tools and fencing wire, and then we expanded. We expanded, and we were able to fence up. I think it was about a quarter acre land down below, where they now have the sporting track, the playing field
Mm-hmm.
over there at St. Thomas's. Somewhere over on that side, we had a little bit of farm, and that was the motivation for a lot of the children. Um, and then, well, at that point, they needed somebody to teach agriculture in Charleston Secondary School, and I was earmarked and called upon to fit into that groove, and so I left. There was a little issue before I left, though, so it wasn't because I left why the project stopped. Um, there was a sad little situation where eventually we had a crop of watermelons, I think, and school went on vacation, and somebody in the neighborhood eventually went and stole the melons and stuff like that, which was very disappointing and disheartening for the children because they were looking forward to be able to, you know, feast on what they would have cultivated and so on. But what I'm saying though, it comes to a mindset, and if you don't have teachers in the school who have that
Yes.
kind of mindset, something like that is not necessarily going to happen, right? So that is one of the reasons also why, as Mal talk about the school garden, which is one, the main thing I think which needs to be done, and it needs to be done nationally, and I think I would dare expand it to regionally, because I'm hearing in recent times that CARICOM, and I think it's OECS, is having some discussions in making some amendments to the curriculum. I think they want to include financial literacy and so on as a part of it, which I applaud, because that's one of the areas that we're lacking, financial literacy. And so nobody really teaches how to do business and spend money and save and invest and things like that. However, I want to recommend that as they're doing that revision, that they make agriculture compulsory on the curriculum for primary school, right up through secondary, and even onto tertiary when you're going into college. So, like for St. Kitts and Nevis, for example, when you go to the Charleston Secondary School, you don't just do agriculture in first farm and second farm, and then when you reach third farm, you say you have a choice. No, just like how maths, English, and history is compulsory and there's a subject that you have to do all the way through till you reach fifth farm, agriculture should be that fourth subject. If we are really serious about food security, and if you're really serious about food sovereignty, agriculture should be that fourth subject that you must do. And when you're going into CFBC, if you're going to do a teacher's training course, if you're going to do nursing, if you're going to do whatever it is, agriculture must be one of the subjects that you do when you go into CFBC as well. And this, I think, would be a true demonstration of us being revolutionary in terms of seeking to reduce the food import bill and really address some of the problems that we're having with agriculture. Because, like I said, if it is not inculcated in the youth from pretty young, then we are going to continue to have this kind of mindset where a lot of the older folks are encouraging their children to not get into farming because they say, oh, it's hard work and it remind them of slavery and all kind of things and so on. And they wanted to become lawyers and doctors and teachers and so on. And so we need to have that change so that we can show our children that there is a lot of opportunities available in agriculture. And so that is another reason to why we need to really expand the agriculture industry so that we can really get more serious into like agro processing. We can get more into whether it's things like bio energy, biogas, where you can use your compost and your manure and so on to create electricity. So there's so many different areas in agriculture that sometimes a lot of us just limit ourselves to just thinking about the dirty up in your hand and the hard work and so on, and not actually recognizing the science part of it and the technological part of it as well. So a lot of our young children who are coming out of school and sometimes are finding it difficult to have jobs, if we really expand the agricultural industry, then we would have a lot of different career opportunities for them to fill and areas that they don't have to compete with others for. So for example, right now everybody wants to be lawyer and doctor and so on. So you find you have so many lawyers in Nevis that most of them they can't even survive on their own. They may have to work with one of the established law firms or something and stuff like that because of the competition. But who is an entomologist? How many entomologists do we have on Nevis? Now that is an area of specialty that study pests and diseases in agriculture. And it's something that we need. We need more entomologists, right? That's a person that would be very instrumental as well, working maybe in a place like the quarantine area, because you would have to know the pests and diseases and so on and that kind of not. But we don't have a lot of people who are lining up. If you're going to do agro processing, you're going to need people who know a little bit of chemistry and physics and so on to know, well, you know, what could mix with what and what, quantity and so on and so forth. And so if we really focus on agriculture and focus on embedding it in the curriculum and ensuring that everybody get an opportunity to do it and see it from a different perspective, then we would have a whole different mind frame where agriculture is concerned, and it would really help with the issues that we're having right now in terms of food security and food sovereignty within St. Kitts and Nevis. Then we have other areas again, more like, for example, who anybody is working on a seed bank, like storing our seeds. Um, these are areas in agriculture something we're not thinking about, but it's something that is absolutely necessary because we're in a stage now where we're importing most of our seeds, and a lot of the seed companies we're not even certain about because one of the things that's happening, even companies that used to be considered organic, right? They're being bought out by some people who don't have organic interest. So they buy out the company 51% and maybe leave it 49% as whatever it was, and then they make their changes according. And so then when you think you're buying organic seeds, you might end up getting either genetically modified or some special hybridized versions and so on. So in order to combat some of these issues, it makes sense for us to be able to start to have our own seed banks and also be able to store up our seeds because look at what's going on again. Because if you're importing your seeds again, that's another thing. With the tariffs, that price is going to go up. That's one. And with these threats of wars and so on, what if the boats and the planes and so on are unable to come in? Then if you're depending on somebody to even bring the seeds for you, how are you going to survive? So these are some serious things that maybe big and I keep saying to Banky, a lot of our people who are at the helm, at the leadership, they're not really thinking like us because for them, what food security means is if the boats are unable to come to full the shelves of the supermarkets. That is the only time that is a threat to them because they have the money so they could buy whatever. But if the boats are coming in and filling the supermarkets with whatever it is and they could buy it, we don't have a food security issue. They would have an issue if and only when the boats can come and the shelves are empty. But we can't wait until that time. And that is what we are hoping to really adjust. So sometimes we hear them, and that is why we would see the kind of double standards in what's happening in agriculture. And we would wonder, well, how these guys could go and say, you know, I mean, oh, we're trying to reduce and food security, and you have these fancy talks when it's necessary. But then you hear on the other side now complaints like, okay, well, we say we have a problem with chicken. Chicken is the most thing that we consume. You hear the government officials say this is one of the most imported meats. But we invested in a broiler machine, and the broiler machine is sitting down somewhere, and we still have to be importing all of the amount of chicken that they say we're importing. We're still importing it. So how serious are you when you have an issue like that? Then you have, as Banky spoke about the Indian castle, where that was a model demonstration farm spoken about everybody in the region and all around the world producing food, and you have reduced it down to almost nothing. And you say you're going to start phase 2, which that was supposed to start. You already spent a whole heap of money to clean it up. You left it, no fencing, no nothing. And if we are going to start phase 2, it means how much ever you would have spent to clean it up, you're going to spend that amount again to clean it up again before you start cultivating at the cost of who? We, the taxpayers. And in the meantime, we are still suffering and still having to spend over $200 million to import food. So, you know, this is what baffles me sometimes. You hear these fancy speeches from these people, but then people like me and you who's in the field and sometimes would even give them the practical suggestions. Like you did, Mud, you were saying that you spoke to someone in the ministry and you told them about these ideas. What happened as a result of that? What was the feedback? Is there any, like, okay, well, we're going to do this, we're going to work on this, or we're going to see how, I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like,
Let me answer you, you know. Let me answer you what the feedback was. More engage the listening viewers. What was the feedback?
Well, let me say something first, right? Tafara, you were saying, right, that agriculture should be compulsory. That's what the topic I raised too. Agriculture should be compulsory, at least from grade 3. I mean, that's what I'm thinking, from grade 3 going up, right? And it should be compulsory all the way. I mean, when I go to school, I had a choice between agriculture and geography, and I chose geography. I had no geographies. You know what I mean? If I were going to school, I would check agriculture. But it should be compulsory, just like you say, history and maths and English and them supposed to be compulsory. It should be compulsory. And you talk about, you make a point about the nurses then, you know what I mean? But when they go to nursing school, they should do agriculture. But when you do agriculture, right, you're eating healthier too. It's a health factor to it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, when you eat what you grow, you know exactly where it comes from, what you put into it. And they say, I mean, everybody know, if the healthier you eat, the better you eat, the more healthy you be. But I did raise the thing, and when the feedback I get, it wasn't, you know, infeasible. Financial straight district, I don't know. Financial.
You say financial what?
Infeasible. Let me put it that way. Let me put it exactly what.
No.
Think about it, right? Before you go further, right? Before you go further, right? I always say, right? They talk about this food import bill, right? And I say, if you invest some of that money, you talk food import bill into agriculture, solving some of the problem here, solving some of the problem we have here, the monkey problem. I mean, I guarantee you, if you didn't have a monkey, like Banky was saying today, if you don't have a monkey problem, you know much more things you can do. You know much more people will plant. Spend some of that money to solve some of the problem. Invest it in agriculture, and then it must come down, because once you put food there, you don't have to buy it. If I produce food in my yard, I don't have to go to the supermarket to buy it. It's just a simple math.
Yeah, so the monkey issue. We lose over 35 to 40% or higher when it comes to loss of food a year time, you know. That's a lot of food you're losing right there. That's a lot of loss. And if the department is seriously looking at these loss that farmers keep incurring, even the department themselves incur these loss. So who fooling who when the minister shut down the program for the last 2 years just to put money into cultural armor? Which is more important, which is the food is more important than the minister himself, because he can't get up without eating. Lunchtime, they can't wait to eat. You could see how much they eat and all. You could see within some of them structure. They eat more than the locals them. So this thing don't make no sense. These are common sense,
you know? But I just pointed out to you, Banky, their food is coming in on the boat, and in the supermarket, so they must eat. You think they gonna have a problem with eating? They getting paid,
well, that's what
and they're getting more than the average person. So they could have. So that's what I'm saying. How we look at food security would be different to how they look at food security.
Okay,
and then Point Banky, when we do have these discussions, when we have these discussions, right? One of the problems that we have, and it is on Nevis and it's on Sinkits as well too. Our people are so petty that when you do have these discussions and you have these pressing issues that affects everybody, but people are so petty that they tend to bring it down to parties and politics. And so you get people getting offended because you have to speak out on issues like agriculture. So then for you speaking out like this, some people are going to be taking it that, oh, don't talk about my minister so, and don't talk about my party so. And, you know, because this is how they are thinking. So we sometimes don't get anywhere with these issues.
Anybody in their right mind, you see, anybody, anyone, they can choose, you can shut your eye and pick it out of a bag, in the right mind, would agree at a 40-acre project when the minister say you're going to do phase 2, when the minister have not, this is the minister bragging about it next 51st, almost 28, 29 agricultural open day in the El Comida, the expo, where the flagship for food security in St. Kitts and Nevis was Indian Castle. They got it printed up all on the budget paper when they time to budget, and the minister even take the elderly from Indian Castle down to Indian Castle for tours and stuff like that, taking pictures. Even for his own promotion, we bring up Willet from St. Kitts with Mikkel and Zook and all, and they take picture between the banana trees and this and that. And down they live. And he say he want agriculture to be a part of his portfolio. And Mark just jump on him and he vex up with Mark. So he say, you understand? That's the way you work in all your life, brethren, is the most important industrial areas when it comes to mankind survival. And he is in charge of that. But he spent all his life. And those who work inside there, that's all they do is agriculture. So how can you spend your whole life in something and not fail? It might as well put Mal to be the minister of agriculture then. Because guarantee you'll get changes. Guarantee you. And that is the reality, because it's where the man's heart is. Wherever the heart is, the soul there, you know. So Mal will do the right thing. These guys is just talking and then go on the radio Wednesday and talk about 1 ton of halabalo. And up to now, we cannot mention nothing about Indian Castle. No food come out of Indian Castle for this is the second open day since I'm not there that knows not one thing. If Mal pick up 2 obs out of garden and come agriculture open day, Indian Castle can't do it. They can't pick nothing and come there.
Well, Banky,
so who going to be responsible for all these things? Yes.
Banky, you see, when I say something, you said something about who in the right mind would do certain things, and the problem is me and you who on the agriculture, and maybe Malto who's on the agriculture side, would look at some of these things and say, no man, somebody in the right mind would not. No. So somebody in the right mind.
So then I care about food. So any human being right now listen to me and your voice and my voice have no care about food. When it comes to sauce up, don't push for healthcare. Sugar apple. You understand? Avocado.
So
citrus.
Hear me out.
Shaddock. You see what I mean?
Hear me out.
Coconut trees.
Hear me
You don't
out.
care about that. Okay.
Hear me out, right?
That's a beautiful thing.
Hear me out.
Yes.
We have some examples, and this is what I'm saying. I spoke about the poultry machine that we would have
Your
invested in,
son.
and it's
The
sitting.
man
That's an
say
investment.
in the building the
That's an
building would have
investment
cost so much of
sitting down.
money. The man saying that the building would have cost so much of money. So he apologized.
But that's an investment that is sitting down that could have been doing something, and there's no outcry. There's no serious outcry from people who, as you're saying, supposed to be thinking like me and you are supposed to be in the right mind. We also spoke about a bit earlier the monkeys which are creating such a major problem, and not just monkeys alone, but in some cases other animals are being a distress to some of the farmers. We mentioned earlier that that program was stopped, and one of the explanations given was that they needed to invest in Culturama. We would have seen last year that a lot of things that should have been done for agriculture was set back and put aside because it was said that $5 million was supposed to invest in Culturama. Now, here is it that the same minister who is the minister of Culturama is the same minister who is the minister of agriculture. And when challenged on Culturama, one of the things that was said about Culturama, right, is that Culturama is an event put on which they know that it is going to be a loss. They know that the monies that are invested in Culturama, they will not make it back. They will be spending much more. But here is it that you have an issue with agriculture, food security, but you prefer to invest in that and neglect some of the critical things that's going to affect the people. Last year, whilst we had agriculture expo, there were farmers claiming that their water was being disconnected because of lack of payment or some issue or some kind of issue they had. How can we really be serious about agriculture when these things are happening? Nothing, and as you say, people should be you should nobody in the right mind would do such things like that. So what are we to presume when these things are happening, and even those who are not supporters of the party or the government also even sit back and don't say anything? So sometimes I really wonder when you do speak now, though, like I said, you're being branded as either being the opposition or supporting the opposition, you know, like the government, you know, like
The
the
minor
party,
matters.
you have something personal with the
Minor
minister
matters.
or minister. But
Minor matters, your son.
we're in a crisis, and like Mal mentioned a while ago, if you these are just basic things to me. If I am spending over $200
Common
million
sense.
to
Common sense we are work
import
with.
food, and I am saying that I need to reduce that import bill. Well, why can't I quantify even half of that then and say, let me put it into the farmers, put it into the industry with the hope that we would reduce it by 50% then. If not 50, let's say 30 or even 40. Because the other thing is, if you're supposed to invest that kind of money in your people, it's not a loss because the money is not going out the country. So if you invest the money in the farmer is going to invest in buying his whatever equipment he need and upgrade his whatever and so on. And then when he grow his crop and so on, it's going to be sold. So that money, but you could take up money to invest in all kind of other things that you're going to lose. So if you're saying you're going to lose money and you're willing to invest in that and not invest in your people to give them an opportunity to reduce the import bill, no, I don't know. So these are some of the things that I am baffled with sometimes, and baffled with the fact that Nivisions would play politics sometimes with some of these issues. It really irks me and hurt me because food security should have no borders. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who party in, and we have this issue. We all have a problem, and it has nothing to do with party. So we just need it fixed. And when we speak out on these things, we're speaking because we want solutions. Solutions we want the problem solved, and problem solved for everybody, not one side. Everybody. When Mull plant the backyard garden, I show Mull sell to everybody. Mull ain't watching to see whether you support blue, green, pink, purple, or what, right? And that is how we.
There's no
Yes.
politics in agriculture. Agriculture have no politics, man.
Yes, I know we have you here for over an hour. We promised you over an hour, but I want you to do your wrap up and your kind words to encourage anyone with a small space what to do. And Yasan and I will continue the discussion because I know you're a family man and you might find your garden can go say go dig up some work in your garden. Wait, no, till later go do your thing and now you stay, but. We really appreciate you coming on. You know, I mean, always it's to share your insight. You never said no or anything like that. So I must also give you flowers with that. You're always willing to share, eager to help, and stuff like that. And it's the same thing with Desmond Bartlett culture, same just like you. And at the same time, I want to big up Bronte Swanston for the great work she had been doing there by her grandparents' house, where the building was just there sitting down without any roof. The structure was there and stuff like that, and turn it into basically practically a greenhouse full of the bedrooms and the bathroom and all the whole house, the whole shell into a full garden and sharing culture and just a small investment, as you said. And now she's selling produce to her co-workers at the bank and in the community. So got a big up Bunty and her husband for the great work that have been done. And she herself is even blown away, not believing that she have that instilled in her. So it just to show you people don't believe within themselves the stuff they are capable of. If they just get a little encouragement, a little help, and realize, I did all this, of course, the power is in within us, you know. So nothing named can't is just having somebody to guide you the right way. And you have that interest and realize you yourself can do the same thing Mull is doing. So Mull, the floor is yours.
All right. One thing I want to put in here is that the other day we had a workshop with backyard garden, and I was surprised, you know.
Yes.
It was done by Keatley Amway.
Hosted by who?
Done by Keatley Amway.
Okay.
And well, he asked me to talk about, you know, the raised bed, which I did.
Through what organization? Keatley Amway is the one who did the host, but who do the planning?
Yeah, I think
and stuff like that.
I think what this,
to acknowledge those who did it.
I don't remember which department she worked for, but coming out of that, right before the COVID.
Yes.
Before the COVID, we were trying to form a backyard garden association, but I'm here to announce that next week we should be getting it up and running. I think the meeting is set for next week, Wednesday. So we'll see what happens, because I tell them that I told her plain we gotta get this thing up and running, because
so you're encouraging people to go to that meeting. You mean you encourage people to go to that particular meeting? Where is that? Where the meeting going to be held at? Where?
It's going to be at the Red Cross building. I think Red Cross building is it. But I could say the thing later. But I think Red Cross next week Wednesday 7:30.
Well, next week Wednesday 7:30. Okay, so that's a call to call all those who have the interest in backyard gardening and small space at the Red Cross building at 7:30.
I think it's Red Cross building, but I started to correct it. But I don't know this on charge.
They should make a flyer and send it out. I mean, that would help a lot with the advertisement and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
So we're trying to get that up and running. The backyard garden association. We got to get that up and running because there's strength in numbers. But I was pleasantly surprised to see how many people turn out. I mean, it was a lot of ladies. Only me and next guy were there, but it was most ladies. But we got to start somewhere. And
people and 30 people, 35, 40 people, and you have 38 females and 2 males. So you see the
Yeah.
interest when it comes to these projects, that the female themselves really have a more keener interest when it comes to agriculture, and the men is who really looking down on agriculture. So you see the mind frame
Yes, sir.
that what that tells about our female and our men. A lot of women are G-string, you know. You see me to show you. They're not a man, you know. They act like a man. The female them have more balls than the man and them. These are testimony to show who have the interest, who don't mind their finger getting into the soil and have on their nails, and you can't tell and these are female that work within the bank and within all kind of different institutions. So how the females have that interest when it comes to growing their food, and the male and them don't have that interest. Something is wrong right there. Something definitely wrong right there. So it shows,
So,
which is a beautiful thing too, because you can't tell who growing the food. So so it's not like only man a good farmer. It's not work like that. Because the female is always
Well,
working
Banky,
alongside the male all the time. That's the concept we need to change, and that is what these young females are showing. It has always been generational where females always work alongside the male all the time.
well,
Yes,
Banky,
yes,
one of
sir.
the things, in more recent times, I'm noticing that there's a lot of funding that is available and is geared more towards women in agriculture and empowering women and women groups. So I am
Mm-hmm.
happy that I'm hearing that kind of response. I'm just hoping that um, when those organizations start, that we have people who within the organizations can look out for things like that. I think sometimes we miss out on a lot of things in these parts of the region sometimes because we're not informed. And so I would want to encourage us to look out for whatever opportunities out there, because sometimes the funding is not even in loans; they're actually in grants that they would actually just give
Yes.
you as long as you have a project organized and so on. So I want to give kudos to the women in Nevis who are seeking to continue to motivate themselves with their backyard gardening, and to continue to encourage Mull to continue to inspire so many people, because as we speak here, Carmen is watching from the USVI, and we have Ounce Irvin Weeks here saying, King Mull, me appreciate you, King. You're one big help to me. So, what I mean, Molly, you got people out there listening, and you got people out there who, know the contribution that you've been making, and tip the hats to you. And we really want to have many more malls around, because if we could have, even another 50 malls around Nevis, I think food security might be something of the past. And if your idea is taken on board, especially that one where, each backyard have at least 2 go boxes, that could be an investment. It can be an investment the government make, um, and in a way work out that it still be compensated for, because then you could set it up in a way that, okay, you provide the grow boxes, but then if they have surplus or whatever it is, maybe and they're selling or whatever, they could find a way to pay back for it, or contribute, or something, or
yes, I
whatever it is.
mean, when we
Let
talk about it, right?
finish you wrap up one man.
Mhm.
When we talk about it, to go back to that, I will talk about it, right? And the casting, right? We did a casting on it, right? Buying this stuff locally, right? And we say, I mean, you've got to go 2 crops a year. And when we did the casting to it, right? If you get one good crop one time, you pay out for it.
You could pay for it.
But then I was
Okay,
talking
wonderful.
one time, because out of it one time, just one good crop. And we put the price low, and it was like paid off for one planted. But then I was talking to
Wonderful.
Banky was telling me, if the government could get involved and you could order this stuff then in bulk, it'll be a lot cheaper.
Right.
And I never said we didn't put that into perspective. We were just thinking about buying it locally. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's a whole different bargain there. So it's feasible. It could be work. It could work. But let's hope and trust that they get serious about agriculture. And I'm trying my best. to encourage people. Like I said, people come to my yard and see stuff, and they get inspired. Somebody told me every time they come here, they get inspired. So that's what I try to do. I'm trying to plant food, eat what I grow, and even if I got a small space, like I said, we got a monkey problem, but 2 grow backs, you cover it down, monkey can't get in. We could start from there. And like you said, at St. Thomas's School, it started with a couple tires, and it grew on you because this thing could grow on you. Because when you don't work, you just want to come home and plant thing. You wake up in the morning and you do your thing, and then you go on inside. You gotta go do your stuff. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
bro.
Can you be thinking that I could be, not only that, I always said I got 3 objectives with my yard, put it whatever order you want, You could sell something, you could eat something, and you could give somebody something. Because sometimes people come to you and say, well, you give me this and you give me that, and I was like, I don't remember that, mate. But that's what you do, you know what I mean? You help people. I mean, right now, like, I got some strawberry I got a small greenhouse too. I got some strawberry in there. I was hoping to get them for open day, but I don't think they're gonna be ready for open day. I have at least 16 of them,
Right,
I remember
right.
not 2 years back last year, but year before I sell like I think it was 19 or 20 of them. But I give my sister
Okay.
M&T to sell for me, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I think the people from Station buy them off. Station, yeah, I think they buy them all off. I was trying to do it again this year, but I don't think they're gonna be as flush and as ready as there was 2 years ago. But this is a thing that you can do. You can plant on the septic tank. You can plant on the driveway. You can plant anywhere. Just a small space. Plant your stuff. Like I say, a brick upon a brick make the building more stronger. Little by little, we could bring on the food import bill. And I just hope, like you said, there should be no politics in agriculture because everybody got to eat. And like my father told me one time, he remember World War II. They used to blow up the steamer bringing the food. That's what he told me. I wasn't around then. He was around. And he passed that down to me. So if they blow up the food coming in, there's not going to be on the shelf. And you all hear about now is war. And fighting and all of this, bickering and all kind of stuff. So if no food come in, what are we going to eat? We're going to start thinking seriously about that. That's why we got to start planting our food. You just can't say that I don't got no land. Everybody got a backyard. And you can do like grow bags, pots, planter box. I remember one time my wife said to me, I got a weakness for pot. Because when I see a pot, I want to put something in it, plant something in there. Whatever it is. Whether you got to try, you know what I mean? I got almost 100 pots in my yard. And then something like 40 something, about 50 grow bags. Plus the planter box them, about 40 something of them. And I got a small space. But every morning, like this morning I pick I picked some string bean this morning. Right now I got some cherry tomato to pick. I got some okra to pick, But I was busy this morning planting herbs. So and then I had to rustle after work. So but like I said, plant something in the yard, plant what you eat where you grow. That's my contribution.
Mol,
Give thanks, my
greatly
brother.
appreciate you.
Give thanks.
Yes,
And we always look forward to having you on the program, and so we will be getting in touch with you again soon. To come back with us. Maybe after the Agro Expo. But really give thanks, and I'm sure those who are listening truly appreciate the little tips and tidbits from you, and they would have seen some of the pictures that we posted on Facebook earlier and so on, and knowing that you're not just talking this, you demonstrate it. So we give thanks, and we look forward to having you with us in the not too distant future.
All right, peace
Mol,
out.
give
Thank
thanks
you.
and
I check you, man.
say hi to the madam for me. Greatly appreciate you giving the
All right.
time so you can share expertise to the world. Enough respect as usual. Yeah, son, and for
All
using audios, that was, you just X off the phone and you're good to go. That was Kenneth Liebert, my Virgin Mull, the one who also not just a farmer, but the one who take care of your school children when it comes to, and those who also travel on the school bus when it comes to culture over time and those delegation coming from overseas and anyone them drivers taking them around. He's the one who's in the background who keeping all those very large school bus up and safe and secure and make sure everyone is incident free when it comes to incident and stuff like that. So you got to really big up them guys at the garage, especially Mall who in charge of that section and stuff like that, and the young guys them who work on these buses. It's about time all the guys at the garage is turning to civil servants. Those who have theirs non-established workers. It's a shame that they have these technical guys up there working and those in charge are not putting them up to be civil servant in these times. These things are not right, yes, son. You can't have workers working on these and machines that take our children back and forth, our workers back and forth, delegation from overseas, and you still have workers up there at the mechanic who are not civil servants, who are still any worker. You see what I mean? And those who was there in front of them who wasn't any worker, now they become civil servants. They still fight those who Virgin, you gotta help people the same. You know, do them no favor, you know. Them a trade men. Them a trade men. If you're a trade man working in an environment for 20 plus years and still a non-established worker, well, how are these things possible, so? How are these things possible? Them a work, you hear me tell you, them now work pan these equipment, you have coat up there, you have bead. All these guys are non-established workers. How are these things possible? How are these things possible? So you have a whole garage and you only have 3 men up there as civil servants and you see them who do the same work. The same work. You got them as non-established workers. Something is wrong with our people in position, brethren. And I want to always advocate for people's rights. You see what I mean? Management system is poor in these areas. You can't have people who are skilled workers, brethren, tradesmen, who are keep our... You want me to tell you? The workers, them who all got to work on the machine, on the school bus, and non-established workers. You understand? And you never hear no incident about a school bus all the years. And you have directors and PSs and managers and all kind of something are looking upon these workers. Madness with our people, brethren. Something wrong with our people. You see? And we talk about accountability, and then the premier going to come and talk about increment for civil servants and all these things. Crap. Them is crap, because them who doing the work, the bull work, the seriousness, safety, and not being accounted for. And nobody fight for these workers. They will fight them down. You'll never get some other do in charge of these things here. And he humble with it. You see what I mean? And the workers, them who go on to the school bus and do all this tongue and make sure them well up to par. Not get a compensation, not get pure fight.
But why I don't know, man. Like I don't know. Like why would you want
it's human problem, you know? It's human problem, you know?
Yes,
human errors.
But
that's what
Frankie, what I was about to say is why is it that some people who are in certain positions like function as
gatekeepers in agriculture, in the government, in the construction, other department. Same thing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, Banky, but why? I mean,
bad mind.
It's not their money. But I think it's not their money. It's our taxes. If you empower one of the workers, when you realize, okay, they've been working very good, but they are unestablished. What is the difficulty in seeking to ensure that this person get established so that they could get their necessary requirements and increments and so on accordingly?
No. Because they don't get a one. You see, when they were not established and they're not capable, now they come established, they forget for those who was in the same position.
No, but Banky, at the end of the day, the money is our taxes. It's already our taxes.
No, you're still gonna get established. No, you're still gonna get benefits like a them now. And Yason deserve it, but Yason still
the benefits that Yason will be getting will be benefits for doing his contribution for his own people, and he's being compensated by his own people via the taxes which are being paid to these. That's why they call civil, you know. And this is something that maybe we don't really understand, you know. But it's a new name for modern day slaves, you know, so to speak, you know. your
Of course.
servants, this is civil servants. Can you still continue to be servants? Because you're still working for that system, the government system, which
But just
technically is
mention
still
that.
technically still a monarchy, because you're head
Yeah.
of government. The highest paid person and the highest person in your government is the governor general, who represents King Charles. So, when we look at these things, I sometimes wonder why some of our people do these things. You find yourself in a position where you could help somebody or empower somebody, and it's not out of your money. So if it was coming out of your pocket and if it was your business, and I could understand where you're trying to, but it's not you. It's the taxes. It's our taxes, and if the budget needs to increase, they have the authority to increase it, and when they're ready, if they make foolish mistakes with the spending of our taxes, they still find means and mechanisms to come back to tax us some more. So if you have to tax us some more to compensate these guys who are working non-established and need to be established, then we shouldn't have a problem in compensating them. We wouldn't, but we have these gatekeepers. I think we need to really address. That's an issue, Banky, that we really need to look at as a people. And I think we as a people sometimes need to look beyond the petty partisan politics and seek to address some of
You
these,
see, we take
issues.
we take things for granted when it comes to safety within the workplace and all this different stuff. Even within the agricultural sector, where they use a lot of chemicals, safety is always, even them with the animals and so forth. You have to make sure they have the boots and the gear, because they're working with animals in a lot of feces and different stuff like that. And then you'd have sometimes you have people who was there before wouldn't even want to get the workers them any boots. People are being ill-treated a lot within the agricultural sector and other department in government, and people just go through the days every day frustrated and all these things and show up to work. Sometimes they're being put to do nothing, and people enjoy these things like it's okay. Is lots of productivity. You have a man showing up every day and I put him to work, and I get paid every day. I have, just like Indian Castle, the manager don't show up to work. The workers them don't do what they want. If they're supposed to work 6 hours and the 6 of them each them work an hour, they say that the 6 hours, and the madness there. You understand? I mean, how them thing there is accepted, which in it is accepted because the minister put these people in place and whatever. That's the business. But I know at the end of the day, people gonna suffer for these things because they only steal from themselves, and then people they dress up nice. But common sense, what me work with, me now work now with the high for loading things in the way forward. Common sense and accountability, because we have been bamboozled by people who jump on the radio and speak nice and put this facade that they're very nice, and they're evil people, devils, pure devils surround us every day in the bridge.
Well,
Pure
Banky, the thing is,
devils,
right?
and that's
The thing
nothing
is,
about it.
for me, the personalities and all of that. I mean, that's that. I want solutions. I really want to see us get to that point where we
Solution,
are
have to put
not
the right
talking
people in the
about
right places. That's the
that. We're not
solution. The
talking
solution
about
is not,
that anymore.
because these things are going to change if you have the same people in the same position, yes, son. It's just, if you want agriculture to change, you have to put young people like Brandon Frederick and stuff like that as the director, Heidi Tyson and stuff like that as the peers. You have to, because those who are there for over 15, 20 plus years, bankrupt for ideas, have no interest within agriculture. You can see it, my brethren. So if you have a young generation who are there in the early 20s and 30s, who have the qualification, the experience, and then those who are there holding them back, well, how do I get the work do? You see me to show you. The problem is the older stuff, my brethren. That is what it is. And the future and time and presence is exists one time. This nonsense we have about future is the future, not future now. Future is always now. Time don't exist. You always, how you going to develop experience if people keep you back? You hear all the highfalutin. Oh, Indian cast is a waste of time. Oh, nothing will go down there. Let me not mind that. That not faze me, because people got all kind of degrees and this and that and whatever. And me do the work. Me only want water Once water day, I may dedicate myself, must grow. You see, Israel a desert, Qatar, Egypt a desert. We're not gonna area that is near bad land. So since all nothing could go, so why the whole of them are fight up now for the whole of the south side going straight back to the same Indian castle? Why them afraid for same all them same land so beyond Brown Hill and Cox and all them same? They might not go down there, you know. But all of a sudden now all the same bright people and them are fight up for the south side of navies. From over back, go back to Indian Castle to the windmill at the same environment. But the same the people now, you see how bright they be in good school they went? People got to pay attention. You know why nobody like them they lead you. None of them from both sides. You see, cause when me tell you protect your land, them tell you waste of time, waste of this, waste of that, and all them benefit most. All of them, cause when Indian Castle harvest, the whole cabinet and the whole Navy to get food to eat. Cause I make sure once they come there, the general public get a chance to get melons and cereals and different stuff because of them place it be. It's them place and my place. It's them place. So when I done write up my monthly report and put in, well, 8,500 pounds, whatever, have been harvested, and next 1,000 pounds or 1,200 pounds have been donated to the general public, to the schools and this and whatever and whatever. What they could say? They can't tell me nothing because me banking at your home in the house. You understand what I show you? The evidence, it is there in the monthly report. That is why I'm a professional person. The cabinet don't not get out of it the same way. The schools them who come there for tours, the visitors, they all get caught up on samples, and the minister and whoever and the peers will speak about it and all this thing, and they take pictures, and that's the reality. And that's all it is, your son. Our problem is human who we put in places. Life is simple, and I don't complicate things. I deal with common sense and nothing else beyond that. You see me? That's how things work. And anyone who want to lead me, I lead my children and them. Because this is how my household said. Nobody who can do far more than you supposed to lead you. Don't mind the highfalutin talking and whatever it is. You know, I hear nothing from them. If nobody is serious about agriculture and secure, can you speak agriculture? You must speak about food security, about water security, clean water. You must think about water development if you're going to increase your food security issues and stuff like that. Since last year, the premier said, before culture, they're going to drill 9 well and wherever. Can't hook up 1 well yet. When we don't talk about this thing, a pure crap. Virgin, me can smell BS from 10,000 miles away. Whether my eyes shut or not, if you're talking crap in my head, it's still crap. You see me to show you? Just so the minister can say and start phase 2.
In our fairness, I think in our fairness, I think 1 or 2, I think 2 wells have been dug. They would have found
one. That the minister said he can hook up 9 well before culture. You tell me this and new year you talk about it. Well, credit, no more credit. You don't fail that with the line about it.
Here's what I'm saying. I said so far. I know 2 has been dug. Hold on. Here where my issue is. Here's where my issue is. No, me making excuse. I am just trying to correct. You said as far as you know, none. You said none have been done. I'm telling you, I know about 2.
No.
But here's my point is.
No, let me correct myself. Let me say. The man say before Culturama start last year, August, July, 9 or 5 will go hook up and tap up and down into the water pipe for sink it for Navy's people. But that's a big lie. Me tell you it's gonna be a lie, and he know you lie. And now you come tell me he don't deal too well. But too well me nothing to me can attend the line. Then I mean nothing to me.
Here's my point now though. Me ain't going pan the part there. Here's what I am. Here's what I want to know. No, here's what I want to know. Here's what I want to know. If any of those, if in the process of any of those 9 wells that are supposed to be dug, if any special allocations will be made for water for farmers and for farming, that is what I want to know. So it's all nice to get more water in the line and so on, but my interest now is in getting access to water for farmers, because farmers, that's one of the major issues. So potable water is one thing for to drink and so on, but I'm concerned about getting water now for the
What do you
farmers.
think?
What
What do you think?
I think? Well,
Yeah.
I know I have not heard anything in terms of any plans for that. So I
Yes.
don't know if after they would have put these wells into operation and so on, if they're going to make some other plans. I could suggest though that you know, some things can be done in terms of seeking to collect a lot of the rainfall. Maybe we need to have some, place where we could strategically, if we need to build some kind of reservoir, something that could store a lot of this runoff rainwater that we do get, and instead of just allowing it to run down to the sea, in some cases, find some ways of storing it and then get it to the farmers. I know Synkits would have done some work in terms of giving out the 1,000 gallons or 1,500 gallons or 4,000. I don't know what the size of the water tanks are, but
Yeah, but how much of
something
those
like
tanks will
that.
be erected? You see, when projects are going on, I don't really to like to see what that you have the resources where you have them erected. Cause having them laying down, mean no water in them, you see, you ain't save no water. So a lot of these projects need to be
Right.
guided properly. You see what I mean? Because there's one thing I don't like to see is when assistance is being given and then you can't go back and say, well, X amount of tanks have been given out, so you add up to at least 30,000 gallons, so extra 30,000 gallons are now pan X amount of farms. When you see what I mean? And
Right.
these tanks will help to produce X amount of food in a sense like that they contribute back now that have been added. Because that's how the data is supposed to work out and turn out. With the extension stuff, we
But
now go
but
and put these things
Banky,
together. That's how it should be done.
as you said that, right? As you said that, as you
Yeah.
said that, you really made me think for real. So sometimes it make me wonder if then a lot of these initiatives are done just to get the photo up, or get some kind of media blitz to say that we are doing something, because it's not really fully thought through. But if you do it and you do those things, you'll be able to say, well, we are making, see,
Okay.
we are making some moves here. So, for example, like
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, like, okay, remember you said earlier that it was said that the second phase of the agricultural project, the Indian
It was
Castle
said in the
project, is supposed
it
to
was said in
start.
the house. It was said in the house
Right.
in November,
So,
December
so
time.
here's
Yes.
so here's what I was about to do. So, what if now you see next week maybe some backhoe and some
Mm-hmm.
bulldozer and some big picture and poster to say,
Mm-hmm.
well, we actually now
Mm-hmm.
working on the phase two, because it seems as if based on how we operate in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I think maybe it's part of why our elected officials function the way they function, because we kind of have
Yeah.
a, what they call it in Jamaica, they say 7 day or 9 day meditation, where a
Of
topic
course.
is hot for
9 days.
7 or 9
Of
days,
course.
and then after that people forget
Yeah.
about it. So
Yeah.
like they say, okay, we're gonna start this in the first quarter, and they tell you that in
Mm-hmm.
January or December, with the hopes that you'll
Mm-hmm.
forget about that by that time.
Of course.
So by that time,
Yes.
it's something else again. So if you're not there to pressure them out to say, hey, okay, well, follow up on that. So, like, for example, when you spoke about the black tanks, I remember that was a hot
Mm-hmm.
topic and so on, and it was publicized, and we would have seen pictures of the tanks coming in and so on.
Of course.
But as you say now, there's no follow up to show that, well, the tanks are activated, and we could now say, okay, now,
Yes.
based on this project, we would have had 100 tanks given out, each tank hold X amount. So now most of these farms are secured with water because they have an additional that amount of water.
Of
So
course.
that point is brought out. And that's the thing. They tell you these things with the hope that you forget. Here's some nice story, and then 9 days after you forget
No,
about that, and
because
then nobody remembers it again.
I'd be in charge of projects like when COVID. I was being put in charge of wires and stuff like that. Wires to help those who have poultry and those who have small space. If they want to have a little backyard, to give them some 4 feet, 50 feet wires and stuff like that to assist them. And those who have a larger scale will get 100 feet. You know what I mean? Regular
Mhm.
6 feet, 5 feet fencing wire and stuff like that. But my way that I had went about it If you want the wire, you put up your poles. You fence the area that you need, just plant the poles, and I will come and will give you the wire and you put up the wire. Because I'm not gonna give you wire to lie down. You could be my brother and my mother and my sister. Me not give it to you. Because at the end of the day, I should be able to give your son two all a wire. I guess well your son have me planted out some fruit trees in that area and stuff like that, X amount of avocado. And can't keep record of this thing and then check up on your son. Your son want to do a little backyard garden and he want to roll a wire. And I come and I say, well, I mean, if you give you an extra roll, then you can have a more larger space enclosed. And I should become follow up with you and say, well, you keep and then I put all this thing in my monthly report. That is how I go about doing things. The people will come and say, I want one wire. When I go and check them, and I say, okay, then, well, this is a better situation. And I give them 3-4 wires. And these people still go and collect and call your name to the ministers and them and say, help them. These are the things you have to be dealing with. You see me to show you. Because they take the same way and want to fence the whole property. And they just wanted to box in an area that they had one or two. You see me to show you. And you assist them. And they want to end up and turn on the whole thing and fence the whole property. And then put the boyfriend to call you. And, Virgin, I could write a book about the civil service and deal with the general public when you have stuff to give as giveaway to help assist them. People just want things to put them down in the yard because I name free. Me no function so. There are generations before people before just give away stuff and you have not, you can't have wait one thing what will be benefited. When I done, I could say, well, X amount of poultry farmers benefited, X amount of extra eggs have been increasing, backyard, X amount of backyard farmers get help and stuff like that. And then the evidence is there. You can make a report about it. You can speak how much you have contributed. And that is how I go about doing stuff. Practical. You see what I mean? Me not just give it to you because you want it. And then, you can't plant. You can't even plant 10 pole. But you want 5 roll of wire. Then, you see what I'm, in a sense? But these are the society that we live in and all this. You just give people things and then if you give us 60,000 bananas, you should be go out there and see what these bananas at, how they've been developing, how much start training within 6 to 8 months. And then, within X amount of time, we'll have X amount of bananas at 30, 20,000 pounds when we started harvesting, planting. That is how you go about doing the deal with projects. You have to give, and that's what the extension stuff is all about. But when you just come, so I'm not easy to impress, because stuff not going to be working in a practical way with follow-ups and all this stuff. Make no sense, brethren. You understand? Make no sense. When they visited me, yes.
I was gonna say, I think hopefully, based on what I'm seeing, we should see some changes in relation to some of these issues because we are seeing that we would have developed a communication link with Southern University, and they are doing some work in terms of increasing training for the extension officers. So some of these things that we might be having some issues with, hopefully we might be able to see some changes. So there's an article here I see says Southern University partners with St. Department of Agriculture for extension officer training. On Wednesday, March 12th, Department of Agriculture St. welcomed experts from Southern University for a specialized extension officer training session, which was held in the department's large conference room. They kicked off with an insightful theory session, providing solid foundation for enhancing the livestock sector, which is an area that we really do need some, improvements in. We are doing well with the abattoir and Nevis, but the abattoir would only be effective if there's a lot of meat supply to be able to create the products and so on, and consistently, provide the products that they develop. So that's very good. In the afternoon, participants hit the field for hands-on practical training, where they learn specific techniques aimed at improving livestock management and boosting productivity. This initiative is another step forward in building greater collaboration, strengthening agricultural practices, and enhancing food security on St. Kitts. Well, A huge
And
thank you to
Nevis.
the Southern University. Well, this article just says Sinkits. A huge
Yes.
thank you to the Southern University for their continued support and knowledge sharing. Together, we are building a brighter future for agriculture. And, um, we must commend, things like this. And when we do get outside support, it is absolutely
Yeah.
necessary. I know, Bank, you were very instrumental in making this connection with the Southern University. I remember you went out on the trip with them. You actually went and visit the university along with
The
the
first
the minister and
the
the
first
PS and
delegation.
the delegates. Yes, and we are now seeing fruits of that visit. The
Yes.
Tabasco pepper project, that is one result of it. This and they would have promised to provide continuous training, and so this is one of their promises being kept. They promised to also offer scholarships and training to students from St. Kitts and Nevis. And in terms of the tuition, they would get a discounted fee. So, students from St. Kitts and Nevis who opt to go through the agriculture program at the um, Southern University in Louisiana would, benefit from this. So initiatives like these, yes, and this is what we want people to understand as well, Banky, that we when things are going good, and if things are going good, we will speak of the good things, and the things that are not so good, we critique, not because we want to get under anybody's um, skin, but because we really want to see improvement for the agricultural sector on a whole. So, I give thanks for things like that. Now, Banky, we getting down into, the wrapping up because we already gone 2 hours already. But there is something I want to throw in at the end here, almost at the end here. I I am seeing a couple of articles online which speaks to a ramp up, it seems, in the federation where they said they are moving on cramping down on illegal drug activities happening on St. Kitts and Nevis. And
Mm-hmm.
seemingly the drug of choice happens to be, well, sorry, not the drug of choice because it's not even a drug, but they label it as a drug. Cannabis seems to be one of the targets. I am trying to figure out if we have
But wasn't that
decriminalized cannabis.
wasn't that a non-poisonous plant? Was passed as a non-poisonous plant?
But this is what I'm saying, Banky. If and this I remember early, I must tip my hats to Ras Aya on this one because very early, this is one of the cries Ras Aya was making even before they actually fully decriminalize. One of the things Ras Aya was saying is for us to have a moratorium in regards to cannabis, where since it is decriminalized and it's not a fault of the people, it is you who are lapsing behind in terms of putting your regulations together, then you should be able to give the people that time, since it's you lapsing, until you get yourself sorted out, free up the cannabis and allow people to just deal with it until you put your things into perspective. No, you are making it to me look as if, well, nothing has changed. And based on what's happening, they're seemingly saying, no, well, St. Kitts and Nevis, violent crime is trending down, gun related crimes is trending down, and so on. So what? You're saying now you don't have much activities to look after, so you're back to using cannabis as a scapegoat to say you're fighting criminal activities and then seeking to
Mm-hmm.
get money from such activities. That is something I think needs addressing, right? Where since, as I said, the cannabis is decriminalized, let's have a moratorium. Ease up on the cannabis. Just allow it until you get your when you put your regulations in place. No, if people start to breach after the regulations is sorted out and so on, then I could understand maybe your argument in that regard. But at this point, that's one. Now another thing, I don't know if you, I don't know where you stand on this, but a couple of days ago, when it's not a couple of days ago, it was a couple of weeks ago, there was an article put out by, I think it's the Ministry of Agriculture and Navies in relation to the importation of seeds, right? And on the post, I would have posed a question in relation to cannabis seeds and what's the regulations and so on in terms of in importing cannabis seeds. And I was informed that cannabis seeds are restricted. So you can import cannabis seeds.
There's no restriction. The cannabis seeds are not illegal. It's not restricted. People do what they want to do. People do what they want to do their own personal thing. That's the way it is. But cannabis seeds are not illegal. Never was.
The response was coming from the person who is in charge of quarantine. So they should know. If they don't know, if they don't know, then these are some of the problems. Because the follow-up question I had then was, how could this be when cannabis is decriminalized? How could you start an industry if you can't even import the seeds? So, I mean...
If you bring in your cannabis seeds, you just got the Ministry of Agriculture, the PS, them don't supposed to have a list of the different brands of cannabis seeds, and don't just customs supposed to just lay past with the seeds and them. And this is how it should have been all the time. You should have been, there's never a lot to make cannabis seeds illegal. The seeds are never illegal. We're just living in a system where those who are at the top, who are in charge, use their belief system to can other people. And that's why we still going to keep always fighting for my rights that have been infringed upon all the time. And they keep infringing on people's rights. Is the belief system.
Part of what I am saying here is maybe part and parcel of the problem, which is one of the reasons why we keep asking. But that's what I'm saying. Why we keep asking for those who are in authority to come and address the topic so that we can clear up these issues. Because if even those who should be in those positions are not aware of the correct information, then how could we move forward? And that's what I'm saying.
So let Mr. Bart at quarantine come on my show and tell us what is wrong with cannabis seeds and who tell him to say these things. You understand? I would love to hear these things. You understand? Because these goes back at the helm.
Okay, so let me go to the comments here, right? Because the post, let me see, the post was made on the 7th of February. So I'm gonna go to the post. It says,
cannabis seeds come to sing it all the time.
Hold on, Banky. It says, get in touch with the Department of Agriculture before you purchase to ensure you're on the right track. Importing seeds, know the rules. Attention to all importers. Importing seeds, know the rules. Planning to import seeds from platforms like Alibaba, AliExpress, Amazon, eBay, Shein, or Temu? Contact us before you buy. That's the first instructions. The Department of Agriculture Quarantine Division can guide you through the regulations and ensure your import complies with the law. Why? Protecting the agriculture sector from invasive species and diseases is crucial. What we offer guidance on permissible seed types, information on required permits and documentation, clarification on quarantine procedures. Contact us today. Office hours 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. So that's the post. Now, in terms of the comments,
stuff like these, when you hear about when it comes to documents, these are just something that costs $5. So when you explain things, you put things into layman terms, it's like people will be threatened with all these things and all these. It's just a $5 permit, a phytosanitary. That's all it is. And the name of the seed company. These are kindergarten things, that's so complicated, the general public will say, why we're not getting properties? These are kindergarten information, You understand? Put it in a technical way. $5 sanitary paper, that's it. It's not complicated.
you just say no,
That's
and
the
that
whole
is part
point.
of what we're doing
Of
here.
course.
We are trying to help
Yes.
to empower the general public. So under the
It's
comment now,
nothing.
right?
Yes.
I posed this question. So I said, is cannabis seeds included? What are the procedures or process for those who would be interested in importing cannabis seeds and Nevis? And so
Yes.
this is when I got the response that says from Nevility Farms, cannabis
Yeah,
seeds
that's
are
Quincy,
restricted.
Mr. Bad.
Right. So he said cannabis seeds are restricted. I
But
responded by
when he
saying,
understand, but when he responding under his personal post and not under the ministry post, you got that's his.
no,
You understand?
minor matter.
I
But
got you.
he said,
Yes.
so no, so I said, even with it being, sorry, even with cannabis being decriminalized and St. Kitts and Nevis, so how will the industry be developed if one cannot import the seeds? The response is sorry about that. Until I see some legislation on importation of cannabis seeds, it remains restricted. Maybe this can be addressed to the board. So this is what I'm saying. So
Make no
this one,
kind of
if those
sense.
who, if those no, but if those who are in these positions who should be
Of course.
making the decisions are not informed, then what is left? So then you leave people to because if
If
you're creating
customs
an
can't
industry
stop
and
you,
then
if
you
customs
can't
can't
bring in
stop your
seed,
seed, now stop your seeds. How agriculture stop your seeds? When you now and sink
so
it now and you bring
Banky,
the seed. This makes sense.
thus
So is it to
thus we
the
keep
front country?
saying, we need to have those who are a part of that setup to come to us. Even up to now, I'm not even sure if they have a PRO organized for that ministry. So we're still waiting. Well, we hear that the office should be open on the 21st of April. That's the last thing I saw. So I guess we'll have to
Yeah.
wait until then to get information. But questions like these, and this is what I'm saying. If you done decriminalize cannabis a couple of years ago, this is not a question that we should be talking about in 2025. This should
Yes,
be,
son.
these things should be clear. So if anybody
You
is
have the
interested in getting
PS.
into the business, how can I start a cannabis business or industry if I can't import the seeds? Where are you going to get cannabis from?
Watch. This is simple. You have the PS of St. Mr. Miguel Flemings. Call Miguel Flemings. I can call quarantine in St. Kitts tomorrow after Acadian Banton and after that the procedure with cannabis seeds or whatever. And you'll see the simple differences. You see me to show you? Navy's
So,
Navy's got
so,
one thing
so,
going on in
so how,
Navy's.
so
That's
Nevis
what it
guy own
is.
la? So Nevis
Yeah,
guy
Navy's
own
got
la?
one thing. The minister don't care about cannabis and the director can't talk about cannabis. The PS can't talk about anybody talk about cannabis and Navy's. Navy's holy sanctuary and everybody going to heaven. You understand? Because everybody going dead from cannabis. That is how the ministers them sees things. That's just what it is. You understand? Pure highfalutin. You understand? But madness. They don't say the plant is non poisonous and pass all these laws. But at the same time, the same non poisonous and something that makes no sense, brethren. And when it comes to
So
common
how,
sense,
so
my
how are
mind
these
can't
things,
function with nothing else
how are
outside of
these
that.
things continued? How are these continued that you're going to have, you're one federation. One thing is
Yes.
happening in Nevis and another thing is happening in St. Kitts.
Yeah, of course. We have a 2025 food agenda program. Sing got the own program and give it things. When I tell Navy's people go buy what? Go buy higher wire. When they got over 200 rolls of wire sitting down that I had ordered through the farmer peers, sitting up on land and housing. Up there, sit down to get a cobweb and dot. And the farmers and the backyard farmers watching the minister and the female talk all Wednesday night and all on different radio shows. Spencer Brother and all them talk all kind of crap. And no, and don't assist one farmer when it comes to food security. They got the wire and electrical fence, solar panel up there, so sit down. What pipes was already ordered from Hasfords. These are straight up thing we talk about 6-inch pipe for the project. They can't start the project here, son. So this is something to show you. You have people just get up every day and speak smart and kind of language. And they're failing. So let me see them. So it's just talking. Virgin, once you don't fail, me want from you, you know. Once you don't fail, I ain't want to hear nothing but a second and third and fourth chance. Me not that. Your failure, you much chance you want to come back and then you accomplish something. So but all the money you don't get paid to do nothing. And all the thing you don't waste and stuff like that. Would that not account for? me no function so virgin, cause I don't fail, and I don't do with failures, especially when you're certified and qualified to work in that environment. You're not supposed to fail. So if you fail consistently, I mean you've been awarded for failing. So we love failures then. So we have a government that love failures. That's the evidence is there, my virgin. Meaning, I'm a simple person and a yes son, and I'm not going to come on the radio and with no highfalutin terminologies. If you fail, you are fail. I deal with common sense and accountability. Simple as that. Who outside of that want to jump on whatever, make excuse, me don't make excuses. As the end of this month, agriculture opened the 27th and the 20th, the expo. There are estates that will bring out a few food. You understand? But there's not a junk of food to come out of what they don't understand what's going on, because I communicate with the staff, and the staff is very ashamed of what's going on. Nothing will come out of Indian Castle again for the second year around under new management. Okay? Let the minister speak about that. Shabazaga next will be harvested at the end of the month. 3 set of different watermelon. Let the minister understand that. Crimson Sweet, Charlestown Grey, and Factor. Okay? Me don't start, me plant those since the last week in December. Okay, if you're going to plant watermelon to harvest, or bell peppers or tomato, you must plant your by direct seeds, or your tomato slips, or you slips them by the last week in December, or the first week in January. Outside of that, you will not harvest nothing for the end of open day. But the sweet corn, if you're not going to plant, then you're not going to sweet corn. You have to buy sweet corn. You understand? You have to plant the potato and you pumpkin them in December, mid-December, because them is 4 months crop coming up and stuff like that. I'm very precise when it comes. If you hear me harvest stuff for June, I'm going to start plant next week. So we must harvest for the end of June. And for July, me plant the beginning of April to harvest for Culturama. So maybe me precise. Me don't miss me date them. So they can, if it's one thing the whole department know, I don't fail. The whole marketing, I'm the one they use when it comes to banking. We wanted to try these seeds here. Made the experiment, man. See these crops them here, back at marketing. Anybody could speak behind my back because I keep it professional. I don't have time with petty people and petty this, and once me work, you can keep a personal feelings to yourself, because I'm going to talk to you every day, morning, noon, and night. When me don't work, you guys talk to me. That is how I function. You see? But it's sad that people within the private and government sector cannot function like that. Once they have something against you personally, they can't work with you, they can't speak to you, they just huff and puff like the wolf, and that's how they function all day. I'm not the kind of person, because me and you have no relationship. You see what I mean? We just have a working relationship on a professional level, and I will speak to you on what's going on, this is what we're going to be doing, and that's it. If you want to keep things, you have nothing to do with me. Because you carry a burden on your shoulder. I have the burden to carry. We just come here and speak, and if the minister is wasting his time, we're going to speak about it. I have no issue with the minister and the managers and the staff within the department. They're my co-workers, or my co-workers. We all get along good, but if you fail, I'm going to say you fail. You understand? If you succeed, you succeed. And that's what it's supposed to be, because you're supposed to be professional. But the problem is, we are just the supporters, them who support the CCM government, and them are fail the government, because the manager put in the biggest supporter of the CCM government down there as his best friend. This is the problem. And them are the biggest supporter, you know. And them are who campaign and up on the place and this and that, and them are the biggest supporters. And them are fail their own government that they so love and believe in and all these things, you know. So that's why they can't speak about these things, yes, son, because it's them own people and mash them up. Remember, you know, when me do me work, you know, the system supporters, all of them, Lord Bank, you make your government look good, Lord this, all Mr. Virgin, me doing my work, you know. And then you had the foolish other side, and them in the green, Lord, you make you look bad, you do to go. What is that? What? You see, so this is kind of nonsense. Me got to deal with the dumb choppiness that come and tell me, like, I want to hear this crap. Nobody could tell me, they could speak, but they don't know how to hear, they do me work. Keep them nonsense to themselves. You see what I mean? Because I'm doing this for us feedback to save the same people who know a fight against be doing good to save themselves. No, you hear anyone ever talk? because their own people are mash up everything. So all them are fight and vex within their own self. That's what it is.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, right, Banky, we
Yes.
we 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 do come on this platform, and we are
Yes.
the only people in the federation that has a program that is totally dedicated to agriculture. We are
Yes,
the only
I.
people who also choose 1 week in the month to dedicate also to cannabis.
Yeah,
And
man.
we don't only talk about it, but we are making our contributions in many ways. I am not there physically on the ground, but I'm making my contributions here in California. You are there on the ground and you're demonstrating through Shaba's Organics. And speaking about Shaba's Organics, sorry, apart from growing and producing crops, you have also embarked on training the masses in a lot of different areas. You have already put on a number of workshops, and
Yes.
we are still in the process of doing more. I know
Yes.
that I don't know if you want to give the people a little heads
Sure.
up at this point about
Of
the
course. Yes.
Indonesian project that we are working on, and very shortly that they
Yeah.
would be able to get information in terms of doing some online courses in relation to food processing and so on.
Yes.
And so it's just to show that, like I said, we may be talking and we may be critiquing, but it's what we consider constructive criticism. It's nothing personal. At the end of the day,
Yes.
we really want the best for St. Kitts and Nevis, and we want to see agriculture improve on both islands. And even though we may critique, we are still open to work with whoever is willing to support. So if the government tomorrow up to make some changes, we are working with them. Like you said, most of the other people there are your co-workers and farmer co-workers and so on. And so we are there, and we are there to see the true progress of agriculture. And so I want to give you the opportunity to highlight that project a little bit in terms of you did visit Indonesia and you went on a workshop over there and saw some of the things that they did and you made some connections. And this is another fruit again from your travels, demonstrating also that it's not just going out and enjoying and getting the opportunity to travel and stay at a hotel and all that, but you were able
Yes.
to make the connections and is now bringing something tangible where the
Definitely.
Indonesian people are now seeking to organize with you so that we can put on this training workshop, which also is not just going to be physical, it's going to be online. So anybody
Yes.
can actually log in
Yes.
and join up and be a part of it. So share with the public a little bit.
Yes. For the last couple of months, I've been speaking about a workshop when it comes to food processing with partnering with the University of Ati Padang in Indonesia, in Padang, Indonesia, West Sumatra. Since I was there last year, June, on a training along with myself and someone else from Sinkits, and along with 18 other Caribbean countries. Being there, the training was about coconut and the growth and different process products that can come out of coconut and stuff like that. But since being back, I mean, I already gave my write up on the trip and recommendations and stuff to both the agriculture department and ministry here in Nevis and also in St. Kitts, and they were forward and the cost of machineries and stuff like that, which could have been purchased and stuff like that. So since then, I'll partner communicate with the professors and the doctors and the staff, and wrote an interest on a project about agro processing and training within fruits and vegetables and coconut or soap making. And they were very happy about the project and love the project. And they also wrote back and asked, find funding for the whole project. It will be virtual, and wanted me to know that the funding agency loved the idea, but they also wanted to know if other Caribbean countries can also benefit from the same project. And I gladly tell them yes. So at least 20 more plus Caribbean countries, Cuba, Guyana, Grenada, all in different St. Lucia and so forth, will definitely have the same chance to participate within this workshop. Registration will be from the flyer should be ready for next week. They'll send me the flyers so I can start post all the information. So registration would be from the 1st to the 25th of April, and then training will commence on the 6th to the 16th of May. And this will be done on after hours and stuff like that, and as much people as possible who have that interest, and it's all free. And they will get a very intense training, business plan, and all these different training, and then you'll have 2 days of 4 products of 90 minutes each day to make the products. And there's when it comes to jams and different stuff like that, different Caribbean countries might have different fruits, so the method will remain the same, whether it's different products, but it's just they have the procedures. And also I'm also working along with Southern University, because what I want also is training from the FDA to come here and train our people in food processing and fresh fruit, whether bananas and watermelon, shipping those stuff, the right procedure, shipping them stuff to the US, because these are stuff that they want to do, partner, and all this program is they will be spending their own money. So it's just to ask and reach out for these people. And Southern University have all the right links. When they visited my farm on Tuesday, always great to see Dr. Snowden and the other professors and stuff like that from the university. We have a very close relationship. I spoke to him about the monkey situation, and definitely they was amazed that we have that such an issue with monkeys, where they already come up with some ideas, solution, where when it come to sterilizing and hunting and different ways, and so I'm partnering with Louisiana, because they have hunting season, have alligator season, and they would need meat for alligator and different stuff. So they have different ideas and stuff like that. So all this, I spoke to the director and ask for assistance in these ways, because these universities have funded millions and millions of dollars who really want to partner throughout the Caribbean, but the Caribbean don't reach out to some of these universities, who reach out to more or less places in Africa and stuff like that. So I just want to big up Heidi Claxton, and her husband Malcolm, who will be a part of Southern University, and have a relationship with them and see these ideas through her wife. His wife is from St. Kitts Nevis, and can get this situation molded, and now it's been fruitful. We have students studying there and stuff like that. Their program, remember, is apart from an agriculture school, it have one of the best last school there on campus. They have a full hospital on campus where they service the community of Louisiana. The last school and the court also, the lawyers them there work for free within the community. They have a full primary school and a high school on campus. They're not just a university, they are a university system. The only one throughout the whole United States, where they have 5 different campuses throughout the states of Louisiana. The only one who is next to them is LSU, which is a more or less, a Caucasian school, but this is a fully fresh blood into black school, historical school for over the years, where they've given them that land, which is the Bluff the Hill. They figured that they were just giving them the land and being, but they're going through this time and they have the historical background of Haitian descent. Cause we, is with the people them being away, You see what I mean? We always been there and they couldn't go to school, and so within couple of years, they build their own school and develop their own institution and never look back. You see what I mean? A lot of these court TV judges looking on the TV, they come out of that school. So now you have all the Caucasian who want to be top lawyers going to that university. They have one of the largest, if not the only one, when it comes to Afrocentric museum with African art from any part of Africa and around the world inside there. So once you go to the school, the first thing they walk you through is that museum. And you have access to that museum. You have the art center. If you're into airplane, they have a full airplane, you understand, course to be a pilot. You're into computer and video games. They have a whole, the most expensive, if not university area, just for people who are into gamers. Real life futuristic stuff. These people are not about talking. They have a full-blown abattoir on the university campus where they work with small farmers and butcher the animals and put the meat into choice cuts and stuff like that, and assist them for a small fee. And these are what these people is all about. The abattoir is just they have a meat abattoir and a meat processing area. So you're well trained. The gentlemen who are there when they come to they have the Zibo and they are the Braham animal with a crossbreed and stuff like give you a bowl up to 2,000 pound, massive. So these people are hands-on, not just professors. They're scientists who hands-on make sure the animals them get the right type of grass and right type of feed and the amount of water. Everything is down to a science. I have literature that books that they wrote and gave me and signing off and all kind of stuff like that. And these are the people who are here. Beautiful people. You understand? So I encourage all people to take advantage and the ministry and the department to partner with these people and tell them what the issue is. The people that want nothing from us in a Virgin. And them also have over seven cannabis stores throughout the state of Louisiana. You see what I mean? They just don't talk. These people is hands-on. And who working in is the students them growing the same herb and them who working at the institution, you know. You see
So
what
you
I'm
see,
talking
Banky,
about?
one of the things that you pointed out there is one of the things that I'm recognizing because of the fact that I am seeking to bring a couple of projects to St. Kitts and Nevis myself. I am in the process of, looking at areas of for funding and so on. And this is what I'm finding out, as you mentioned. A lot of times there are organizations and institutions out there willing to give monies to invest in some of these projects, but somewhere along the line, the Caribbean is sometimes not on the list. And then even if the Caribbean is on the list, sometimes what happens is like the bigger countries in Caribbean, like whether it's the Belize or the Brazil and
Yes, yes.
Bahamas and the bigger countries. So sometimes we are nowhere in the scheme of things. Sometimes they don't even know that a place is called St. Kitts and Nevis. And so
Yes.
these opportunities, when we get them, we need to take advantage. And another thing is sometimes they get through to the ministry, but then it sits on somebody's desk and it's not
Of
published so
course.
that other people can take the opportunities and so on. And so we really need to do a lot more to empower people to sometimes grab some of those funds that's out there that could really help to
Yes.
catapult us to the position that we should be. So, Banky, I mean, we would have touched on a lot of things this evening, and it's now 2.5 hours done gone already, just like that. And there's
Yes.
so many
Yes.
other things that we could talk about. But I'm hopeful that we could get this information soon in terms of the training, and we could get some more of our
Yes,
people
definitely.
as much as
By next
possible
week.
on board
Yes.
to do the training in terms of agro processing and so on, because that's one of the things that I am always passionate about.
Yes.
Adding value to the products the produce that we have, and that is our gate. That is the key
Yes.
for us, because we don't have large tracts of lands. But like Mull,
Yes.
even though he has a small space, you're able to produce a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and then you surplus, then you could get
Yes.
into creating a value-added product. So our market should be, our goal should be to be able to add value. And another way we can,
Yes.
which is one of the areas that I'm working on, Banky, I'm just waiting, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. There's a project that I am seeking to bring into the federation, which you're dealing with the FDA, but this one will be dealing with the USDA, and it's going to be able to assist in terms of training our people to be official USDA certified um, practitioners, so that they will be able to
Mm-hmm.
help to get the farmers to be able to certify organic as well. Now, when you
Yes.
get more organic certified farmers, it means instantly you're adding value to even your raw produce. So before you even create a product with it, because you know how it is in terms of organic. If you're certified
Yes.
organic, then it means instantly your produce price gone up just like that. And then imagine now when you're creating products now from your organic, and you could brand those as organic as well. So you see that market that we're seeking to tap into. Now, the other part to that project is in the Caribbean. It's not in the Caribbean yet. And so I'm hoping that St. Kitts and Nevis could be the first, because what they intend to do is to replicate it throughout the region. But what would happen is that those who are trained on St. Kitts and Nevis first, if we if we are the ones who really get it first and accept it first, then those who are trained on St. Kitts and Nevis would be the ones used to go and train the others in the various different territories that they start opening up.
Mhm.
And so that is one of the reasons to why I really want St. Kitts and Nevis to capitalize on it first, so that we are it's like they train the trainers. So then we would be the trained ones to go to train the
Of
others,
course.
wherever
Yes,
we
the
go.
master trainer.
And
Yes.
so I am, really hopeful that, we could really see um, the benefits of some of these organizations and institutions that are out there. And St. Kitts and Nevis could be one of the first in the region, and then we help open the door for other territories within the region. So, Banky, I am grateful for the opportunity and the time and this edition of Everything Agriculture, and we look forward to being with you, my people, again next week. We must apologize again for the technical difficulties at the beginning of the program, but with a very, very capable team at Real
Yeah, man.
Entertainment Network, everybody is able to
Make,
fit in and chip in and just make it
make
happen. And
everything
so,
work nice. Yes.
yeah, we want to give thanks to the team, the entire team, Real Entertainment Network team. And for all of you who make it your business to tune in on the platform, please remember to like and subscribe. You can check out our YouTube page as well and like and subscribe. We're on Twitch TV as well. So there
Mm-hmm.
are, other options for you to log in and participate. We probably will be around next week. Next week, I'll probably do another edition of the topics. And we were not able to do that. We had an exclusive interview last Tuesday. Last Tuesday,
Yeah.
Tuesday gone, with Elvan Ellie in terms of the ice and his experience in terms of ice. And that was a very, very powerful session. However, Banky, I give thanks
Yes.
and enough love, people. Wally,
Well,
people of
before I
Oli and
go,
Lion Media.
yes.
Go ahead.
Before I go, just want encourage those. Remember, this Friday, well, today was the last when it come to, I think, for the agriculture time to sign up if you want to take part in agriculture expo coming up the 27th and 28th. But if you didn't get a chance to register, I'm not sure. I guess you got to fight your way in and shed a few tears, and they'll try to squeeze you in if you miss the deadline. But I want to encourage the general public to go out, support the agriculture expo coming up the 27th, the last Thursday and Friday of this month. I mean, I'm not sure. I know there's people supposed to come over from Stacia and Sabre, and they're looking forward for the cannabis section and all these different stuff. Not sure if they would have a cannabis section, but definitely also want to big up Babs, because every year you usually have, you see, different chefs from different hotel tend to come out and showcase their skill set when it comes to preparing certain type of foods and vegetables and stuff like that. And she tend to pull that section off and that usually be a part that is people look forward to and get some tasting and sampling of the foods and stuff like that. Sometimes you have ice cream and cake baking competition. So she really does pull that off, and you really got to give her roses while she's at it, because she's one who's always in charge of that area all the time, over and over. All the years I know is Babs in charge of that area when it comes to the food demonstration and the cake and the competition. I don't know how they're going to replace that lady when it comes to somebody have a lot of shoes to fill when it comes to taking over that section, because eventually she'd have to leave the department. I mean, she's been there for, I guess, over 30 plus years, and she have retired, and they have her back there and stuff like that. So the time will come, everyone will have to transition and move on. But Babs have done her part, and this is stuff I'm talking about, people within the department and showing the contribution. Even though she's in the veterinary area, she's controlled the area that is in charge of food and organize all these things consistently. It could be frustrating and stuff like that. And I know she mean well, but she always pull it off. So I just wanna big her up for that. You understand, for the role she's been playing, and also the whole staff at the veterinary section, because they have some serious displays when it comes to the different type of birds and animals. I don't wonder where the hell they get them from, because I didn't even know some of these exotic birds and these different pets that be on the island. It's amazing. So you gotta big up the whole veterinary section down there, Ambrose and Tischel and all those goes on, all them guys who down there, Coach and Babs and all of them, because they really, really do. They put a big thing together, and you know what I mean. not forgetting the abattoir. Gary always ready like Freddy, not no hold bars. Keep developing more products and stuff like that. Even though the Southern University doing some training with choice cuts meat is in sync. I believe his abattoir is really up to par and stuff. Gary himself is specialized in training, which I've done some training with Sync some also. So he is very capable of, doing these workshops. And the Department of Sync need to really look into Gary and his skill set some more. Sometimes that agencies tend to bring people from overseas, not Southern University, but other people to bring in. But at the same time, Gary himself, you can use your local person who is well trained, because Gary can't be replacing your son. I don't know the department gonna replace a man like a Gary, who have always welcome information and feedback from the general public when it comes to his seasoning and preparation of his food and his stuff like that. So at least he can tweak it. So he have mastered when it comes to a processing unit when it comes to food, and put Nevis abattoir on the world stage, where the supermarkets and them can't sell more ham than the abattoir when it comes to Christmas time. And he have the ham and them available all year round now. We will taste with chicken and the bacon, and the different choice cuts and stuff. So continue to support the abattoir at Prospect, and let them know. Tell Gary Banky send you, and you'll get a Banky discount. So definitely continue. So the abattoir is doing some great things there, and you have the propagation technique. The young ladies then pushing and doing their part. So you have a good section of the agriculture department where you have some good stuff there working, but at the same time they are just limited because of management systems and stuff like that. And hopefully they get beyond some of these obstacles. And also want to big up the communication area. You understand, my boy Chevron within the communication area, and Shaki, who going out and stuff like that. I want to see them more within the general public at small farms. I want to see the farmers. They want to see everybody and NNC and stuff like that. That is what extension is all about, and the communication area is there for. Go out and find the people in the quarrels and stuff like that, and put them out there, put them on NNC. You understand, for those who can't come out and shut in, can see what's going on within the agricultural sector and stuff like that. And remember, agriculture is the most important, as some candidates say, it's our salvation. You see? So whatever else you think is your salvation, agriculture, you don't eat, you die. You see what I mean? You don't have clean water, you die. So, Yasan, it's another Friday evening, and folks, we greatly appreciate you. Sometimes we give you some extra time because, only we can do it like this. No one else can come and speak agriculture for years. A week after week after week. So it shows the genuineness and the will for us, because we want you all to do better. We want our leaders to do better. We want to see our youths and getting up and have that interest and study agriculture and realize it's all science. You need your sciences subjects. You need to understand the environment. So you need geography and stuff like that. So you can understand to monitor the weather and all this different stuff. So it's a whole holistic effort. So give thanks for those in the background. Big up Alan, the technical person for this evening, and would probably be the one for next week also. And Ira and Chev and Reese and everyone there who stick around and make sure everything goes smoothly. And you, the listening and viewing audience, who believe in Yasin and the whole real team and the work that we're doing here, making us the #1 show in St. Kitts and Nevis. I wouldn't have thought that would have been turned into the #1 show. You understand? When many figure, well, we would have just last a day, and we're still here contributing, promoting agriculture, and hope the minister and his staff understand we just mean well and want to see them pull up their socks. And just so we have that interest in working up in Culturama, have the same interest in working up for agriculture too. You see what I mean? And put real budget in place where the farmers and the general public themselves can really get the assistance that they need, and to bring down this food import bill. Now it's moved to 2030. We'll really see the seriousness between now and then. Well, we're going to be everyone, I'm not sure if certain people are going to drop out the race by then, but we're not going away. You know what I mean? But until then, Yasan, you can finish up anything you got to say, and then Alan will just close it off.
Yeah, well, the last thing I will say is, yesterday would have been the commemoration of the Grenada Revolution, you know, it would have been on the 13th of March, 1979, I think it started, you know. Something we don't really talk about, and you know, I think it should be in our school system. You know, I think this is should be part of our curriculum. It was one of the only true revolution in the or Eastern Caribbean, British speaking Eastern Caribbean. Um, and it ended by
You freeze your son?
it seems as if I got frozen there a little bit. I'm back, Banky. It seems as if I got bumped off. It seems as if I. But as I was saying before we wrap up, I was just saying that at the end of the Grenada Revolution, it would have taken out the lives of some active politicians. You know, the late Maurice Bishop and some of his other colleagues were executed, execution style. And that's a revolution in the Caribbean that, you know, we don't speak about and we don't hear much about. But I think as we wrap up, that's something that you could take some time out and do some research on. Enough love, my people, until next week, Friday, or you might see me next week, Tuesday, for another edition of The Topics right here on Real Entertainment Network. In the meantime, just waiting for the technical team. They could just start putting the music in the background. And if they start putting the little music in the background, then I would know that we're ready to make an exodus here from this edition. We did have some little difficulty at the beginning, but we tried to make up at the end here by giving you a little extra time on the show. Enough love, everybody, and enough love, all the farmers. Tafara's nursery is still available, and we've got strawberry slips and jackfruit slips and a lot of different, you know, fruit and ornamental plants. My mother, she loves the ornamentals. For me, I am more so into things to eat. So that was our thing, you know. But you can always check her out there up Fountain, down Ghana Road, and you can get your strawberry slips, and you can get your jackfruit and limes and English plums and ackee and wax apples and all sort of different fruit trees. So if you're ready to start planting up your yard with fruit trees and so on, if you're maybe not ready to, you know, get into crops that you want to look after, you know, on a day-to-day basis, but you just want to have some longer term crops, then hey, definitely you can check them out there at Fountain Village, Tafara's Plant Nursery. You ask for Isilma Daniel, 469-9787 or 664-9574, and you can order your plants. I push a pet a plant project. You know, a lot of people are buying pets, dogs, cats, and whatever, but you could pet a plant. You could buy a plant and take care of it, learn how to take care of it, go on YouTube, learn, you know, tutorials, whatever, how to look after it, and You know, especially if it's a fruit tree, then it will not just serve you, but it may feed your children and your grandchildren and your great grandchildren. Because I have mango trees over in Mount Lily that my grandmother and my grandmother would have planted, and I'm able still to eat fruits and stuff from those trees. If you go to Fountain and you look in the yard, a lot of those trees were planted by my father. He's not with us anymore, but my father and my mother would have planted a lot, and now they would leave that for us to continue to benefit, and then my children would be able to eat and consume from those as well. And then I like a relay race would have to continue the carrying on the baton. So whatever they planted, I will plant more. And I plan to plant until I die. And so I know I have a lot of planting to do. A lot of planting to do. So people, I'm just waiting for the technical team to give me that signal that says we're out of here. But until then, I would, keep the live active. Let me see who we got here. Woodland Hill. Woodland Hill was in. Carmen Libert, Owens, Annette Morton, all the others who would have logged in, and I would have seen a number of people who would have logged in. It was a pleasure having you. Until then, just waiting to get that message to say, yeah, we are out of here. So people, enough love, enough love. Thank you all for, all of the participation and all of the support that you would have been giving us over all the years. We really and truly appreciate it. Keep listening. There's a lot that's going to be coming. Remember to listen out for the workshop. You don't want to miss out on that. It's free. You get an opportunity to learn more about agro processing, all sponsored by the good folks from Indonesia. Compliments to Banky and the connections that he would have made as a part of the training that he would have had in Indonesia in regards to coconut and anything coconut. We might be looking at things that we can do everything mango, seeing that mango is a big crop that we have on St. Kitts and Nevis. So imagine learning how to process mango into a lot of different things. And, we got to begin to think like that. And then if that is the case, then a lot of the mangoes that we would say would waste, and as we would say, go to the dogs and, go to the pigs and so on, we would now be able to add value to some of those and be able to help to reduce our food import bill and maybe put us in a position where we can have alternative, healthier snacks for our children to eat, and also healthier things to put on the market as well, because then we will be able to package and label and distribute as well. So there's lots for us to do in the field of agriculture, and we really need to have that change of mindset and not look at agriculture as just dirtying up your hands and going in the ground and so on. We are hoping to create a lot of opportunities for you to do some different things. There's another project that I'm working on, which includes an app for farmers, a mobile app where you'll be able to put up what you have available. Folks would be able to purchase from you on the app. You'll be able to share information, whether it's information about the weather, pests, diseases. And that's one of the key things, though, the marketing side of it. You'll be able to trade amongst each other. So a lot of farmers sometimes complain that they take a while to get paid and so on. You would find that farmers now would be able to get paid, because it would be a transaction online. You could simply press a button on your phone, order whatever back, you get your money, person come and collect, or you make an arrangement to, and things like that. So that's another project that we are looking to introduce to St. Kitts and Nevis as a demo model as well. We are hoping to replicate that throughout the region, but we are looking at offering St. Kitts and Nevis that opportunity as well. So as I'm here, I am looking at all the opportunities. As you can see, my flag is right behind me. So everywhere I go, my mind is always still on St. Kitts and Nevis. So anything I can do and any opportunities that I get that I can seek to improve St. Kitts and Nevis, I am for it. Sometimes the opportunities that's out there that we don't take advantage of, and if they become available and I'm aware, I will seek to share it to relevant authorities that may be able to do something with it if I am not in a position to do anything with it directly, or even if I can do something with it directly. I am that kind of person that I love to share because it's not about me. At the end of the day, even if somebody else's take up on it and benefit, um, and it's going to benefit the country, it benefits me. And that's the way I think. And that's maybe it's still a part of the teaching thing, because that's, we teach and we expect our students to become better than us and to be in positions that be making 10 and 12 times the amount that we would have made, and we were their teachers. We teach doctors, and doctors come around and we end up having to pay these doctors to take care of us. So, for me, I don't look at things like that. If I'm supposed to assist you and you turn out to be much better than I am, that's wonderful, because it's a joy for me when I am able to look back and see students who I would have influenced their lives in some way, shape, or form, and they find themselves in certain positions today. I mean, that's the pay that we get. Teachers don't really get paid, but that's the kind of pay we get. Like I was listening to Banky earlier, and he called a name there. He was Brandon Fredericks. That was one of my students, right? And I mean, to hear that, that's the kind of credibility that he has for a student of mine. Hey, you know what I mean? And then I know I have a lot of other students, past students, who are still in agriculture in some way, shape, or form involved in agriculture. Um, and I am proud, whatever areas they may be, because I did not only teach agriculture science, I also taught social studies as well. And so that's one of the other areas that impact a lot of different people, because you learn about different religions, you learn about different systems, you learn so much in social studies. And that was one of the subjects that I loved very much. I love learning about different cultures and different way of life and how different people live and so on. And so it was kind of easy for me to teach the subject. At the same time, I learned a lot teaching the subject as well, because I had to learn a lot of the material in order to pass on the information. And so in some cases, things I didn't know, it forced me to know. And I would never, ever regret having to teach that subject. As a matter of fact, it is what kind of helped me to better understand governments and the different types of government and governing systems and so on. And thus me being able to at least look at things, even though I am not politically minded, I am at least knowledgeable enough of the system to be able to see and know and question certain things that may be happening, and or share view or opinion when necessary, when certain topics or conversations are brought to the table. So I'm still here. I don't know if Banky has not gotten in touch with Alan as yet. But we are just waiting. I am just here waiting now. If Alan is ready, Alan, if you're ready, you can just sign us off, or at least bring in the music underneath so I could hear the intro of the music, so I know that you're really ready. Otherwise, I will seek to keep you, the masses, engaged a bit in the meantime until, wow, we're now 3 hours. 3 hours. But yeah. Yes. So yeah. There is another project. Well, like there's so many things that we can do, and I'm hoping to do for St. Kitts and Nevis. This one, we're in the middle of planning though, but this one would involve cassava. And as I was thinking about the cassava project, I was telling one of the brothers who are part of the project organization that I think it is a very good crop to deal with, especially seeing that in the Caribbean, it is said in the indigenous people of the Caribbean made a lot of use of cassava, whether it was the Taino people who were there. They use cassava widely in their lives, and I think in more recent times I would have heard that cassava is becoming a big thing back on the island again, especially on Nevis, the cassava bread. I think it's on St. Kitts as well too, because I think I saw some street vendor actually making the cassava bread on the streets in Basti, which is really, really impressive. And so having a project like that is what we're looking at, and not just looking at the cassava bread, but also growing it and the other value added products that can be created from that single crop. And so I'll keep you posted on some of these things, and I'll definitely update you as things progresses. The next project that I'm really looking forward to this training workshop from the Indonesian people in regards to agro processing, and so I'm looking forward to that activity coming up soon. I will definitely keep you people posted. In the meantime, I guess still let me just see if I can go back and encourage the seniors in relation to that project that we should have next month, I think. Where is it? Let me see if I could find it and read it out again. Okay, so we're talking about the Nevis Island Administration Social Services Department Senior Citizens Division presents its first ever seniors garden competition, and I love it. I'm hoping that the folks out there could spread this word, and that our seniors could be really involved. It would be nice to see them getting all involved and setting up their gardens and so on, and really getting into this activity. I'm really appreciating the efforts of the Social Services Department and Nevis. They're doing a lot. I think it's Trudy and her group. I am really appreciating a lot of the things that y'all are doing, and this, I must say, is a very, very good initiative. So the Seniors Garden Competition open for all seniors age 65 and above residing on Nevis. So you have to be living on Nevis to participate in this activity. Open to 65 and above. You have to be 65 years or older. The forms for the competition can be collected from the Social Services Department, Ministry of Health et al., and the Department of Agriculture. The categories that you're going to be judged for would be the most beautiful flower garden, best vegetable garden, most creative container garden, most accessible garden, and I guess most sustainable garden. The registration starts from the 17th of March, which is Monday. So from the 17th of March is registration, and the registration ends on the 17th of April. So you have a whole month, so if you didn't hear today and somebody tell you, in the middle of next week or 2 weeks after, you still have a whole month to register. And then the judging period would be in July. Now, I'm not certain if closer to July, if they would give a specific date, or if it is just throughout the whole month of July that they would be going to the different places and gathering the information and so on, and then decide who will be the winners for the various categories. But they did not give a specific date in July. All they said is that the judging period would be July 2025. So seniors, especially if you were involved in agriculture, even if you were not, and it's something that you just want to, take up as a hobby since you're home now and you're not working anymore and whatever, well, you could have the most beautiful flower garden. I don't know what the prices are. I'm hoping that some sponsors would come on board so that, these people could really get some tangible things so we can really motivate a lot more people to get involved in their backyard gardening and so on, and thus be able to be more healthier, live a healthier life, eat more healthy food, and at the same time, a little therapy and exercise for them and keep their mind active and sharp and so on. Because farming does all of that for you. And so I am hopeful that people would really, the citizens of Nevis would take up this initiative and really embrace the opportunity to get involved in agriculture. And in terms of, I think it's a very good initiative, especially for food security and food sovereignty as well. So I am really happy for initiatives like these. I wish they could have a lot more. So the backyard garden competition, well, that is one that I think, should get on board as well. I am happy to hear Moll mentioning that they're looking to form the backyard gardening organization for Nevis so that a lot more people could get involved. I hope that the communications team from agriculture could eventually, do some promotion for that as well, so that we could have a lot more. The more people doing a little backyard gardening, it helps, because if you're going your little backyard garden, it means then it's going to reduce the amount of, it's going to help you too. You're going to eat healthier. You're going to save some money, and you would live more than likely a healthy and a longer life. And so it's a win-win for everybody if you're supposed to, take agriculture a little bit more seriously. So people, I just, I'm taking this time to add these little tidbits of information as we await our team. I don't know if my boy fall asleep here on us. But I'm just waiting for Alan to log me out or log us out. I don't know if Banky would get in touch with somebody else who could actually do that. Let's see if I can make a shift. Okay. All right. No, I'm sorry. I'm just seeing some messages, and so no, some people are telling me that they were listening and they were hearing and so on. I'm sorry about that. I wasn't able to check my messages and so before, but let me see. I'm trying to get in touch with somebody here. So yes, I see my friend here logged in. Catherine Dole. I know she was very instrumental last year in the activities there that they had. I'm really happy for the things that social services are doing. And this is me. I keep telling people, it's nothing personal. If you're doing good, I am going to commend the good. And if there are things that I feel I have an opinion on, I am going to share my opinion. If you have something that you could help me clear up whatever opinion I have, if it's just an opinion and it's not facts, and you have some facts that could counteract what I am thinking or saying, and you present it, I am man enough to say, well, okay, I guess I saw it wrong, I had it wrong, and I humbly apologize if I need to. That's how I am, but it's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. Let me see. I got distracted because I was talking. I was looking for something else that I needed to do, to see if I could fix this in a way that might not be the ordinary. But let's see if I could get a shutdown in another way. Because it's time to get off here. Okay. Let's see if that work. Okay, let me see. If that works, then probably let's see if they could turn off so let's see. Let me see what's happening here. So I'm trying to communicate at the same time while we are still here live. Let's see if that worked. And then we could probably just get the intro in the background, and we get a shutdown. But I don't want to leave us live on line like this. So if we are online, I will talk to you until we get this adjusted. So yeah, as I was saying though, I am really loving the works that's being done by the social services department, and they do a lot of work in terms of the market. Sorry, the promotional team, the PRO team, I think is doing a great job as well. I see a lot of the activities that they do in terms of helping the senior citizens on Nevis. That really means a lot. When you take time out to look after the seniors and make them feel truly appreciated. Because when you talk about seniors, a lot of these people would have made their contributions to us in some way, shape, or form, maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. And they're not necessarily as young as they were then, and as able to make some of these contributions. And so to show and demonstrate that you truly care about these people and you still want to give them whatever little you can and celebrate with them, I truly appreciate it. So I would see events, they go on, when they're celebrating their birthdays and so on. I mean, I'm seeing some things that are so interesting. I mean, I saw a 94-year-old lady dancing, with the masqueraders and so the other day and so on. I mean, these things, they're touching, really touching. And so I give kudos to the entire team. And one of the things that I love about that team as well too, as I look through the team, I'm not seeing a lot of older people. There's some young people as well in between. I forget I see one of my students there. I forget her name, but anyway, yeah, Miss Morton. Let me just say Miss Morton, because I think that would cover who I'm talking about. And it's nice to see young people like that, take on, such, works, because it demonstrates a lot, because it's not easy to deal with seniors sometimes, especially some who may be having, difficulties in terms of dementia and, different things where they might not necessarily be as level-headed as they used to be and so on back then, and sometimes some could be problematic and so on. But learning and understanding these things and then being able to cope with them and work with them and so on, it's not easy in some cases. And so I do tip my hats to those people. And then, like I'm saying, I'm loving the efforts that they're making in terms of agriculture as well. And so to see that they're put on an activity like this, I'm really hoping that a lot of people would support it. Please, as you get the information here, look out for the flyer. I'm going to post it on my page again, so that folks could, learn about it and then go and get somebody. They can't go themselves, get somebody to get the form and sign up. And I hope that this could be a real activity. I hope that they could have so much seniors that, involved in this, that they don't even know what to do, which is what I'm really hoping, that, so many people could be involved so that they could see that this is an activity that they need to have a follow-up, in the not too distant future. So people, I'm still here, it seems. And so I will await shutdown. I will await shutdown. I'm still awaiting shutdown, and so I guess I am still here. Let's see. Yeah, so we're doing some communication behind the scenes, this is how we do it. Our usual technical person is not available tonight, and so we had to make some adjustments, and as a result of the adjustments, we're still here. And so I let's see, yes, I'm still live. So 3 hours and 18 minutes. But yeah, great activity put on by the Social Services Department.